welcome to another episode of The Flank. All right, we're joined by Chris Parasite, we're joined by Patrick Price, aka Aches, and of course, Mr. Benji Nassim. And we also got a couple guests joining us here early on. We got Zinni, aka Methods, and we got Donnie Temp. What's going on, gentlemen? How's everybody doing, man?
Good.
Donnie, I'll let you take the floor first.
Oh, I'm feeling great, man. You know, some nice pappy. Just came back from vacation in LA. I'm feeling good, man.
Vacation in LA.
Yeah, okay. Tony was here too. Tony was here vibing.
In LA.
How'd you guys like it? Be honest. Do you guys like LA? Do you guys like it here or no?
It was a good time.
Some people either hate it or love it. There's like no in between. It's like one.
I think that environment, I was a little too faded, but you know, I think I like a good time.
I think I like visiting it. But Tom, I'd like another introduction if you don't mind, please. You forgot guest of the year, current guest of the year.
Current guest of the year. You're not guest of the year for this year though.
No, but as of right now, I have the title.
Okay, as of right now, yes, Tony does have the title as guest. Ladies and gentlemen, we are joined by the guest of the year, Mr. Tony Anthony Methods.
Tony! Hey, it's an absolute pleasure to be back here. Obviously, some new faces, right? I'm not used to being on with Chris and Price. So, guys, it's a pleasure. My LA trip was a little less enjoyable than Donnie's.
How you like the show? How you like the show, Tony? With everybody
lost
on?
by 1 round to the world champions.
Yeah, I saw that. I did see that.
I like the show. I mean, I didn't catch the crazy one, but I've been
That's cap.
I've been enjoying the shows.
There's got to be cap. I thought
you
saw
didn't watch it at all?
No, I watched the recap.
Oh,
I didn't
okay.
watch like I watched the recap videos. I didn't watch like I didn't watch it live.
No, because you had said you watched like something, so you know.
Yeah, I watched some of the recap videos.
Well, that's cool, man. How'd you like it? A little bit of a wild one last flank, huh? A little bit of a wild one.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean,
that wasn't supposed to happen. None of that was supposed to happen. We were just getting on to talk rosters, and that's what we're doing here today. We're gonna get on and talk a little rosters because last episode was a little, you know.
Last episo's a little wild.
Listen,
maybe a little bit.
A little wild.
It got out of hand. We definitely should have put a stop
wait, how
to
did
it.
you echo it? Oh, I know why. You're good now. I muted you on
Okay.
OBS. You're good.
All right.
You're good.
It got a little out of hand. I know we didn't intend for that to happen, but once the beast was unleashed, we felt like it would have been a disservice to fans to kind of just shut it down. We know you guys would have been pretty mad at us, but I mean, people seem to enjoy the action, kicking off Rostermania with a bang, literally nuclear explosion.
It was definitely a nuclear explosion.
It was actually a nuke, dude.
It's a good way to put it. And did you guys see Porter's tweet recently, like 30 minutes ago? Did you see what he said?
Yeah, he's like, I don't know.
What does that mean? What does that mean, though?
Nah, he's like a Westworld robot.
He's scheming, bro.
Westworld the robot.
Yeah, you guys ever watch Westworld? Crim is like a Westworld character.
He's a Westworld character? I've never watched Westworld.
That's a good show. That's a good show.
But
yeah, he's like Harrison Ford.
He's just trying to galaxy brain everything. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think he's trying to 5-head, dude. He's really a 5-head.
Okay, well let's tune in and see what he said. We can start off with this, but he said was at the Iron Paradise, and I noticed something occurring in the CDL player market. Some Wall Street level critical thinking occurring in my dome piece. Need the exact number for both unrestricted and restricted free agents. Discussion soon on stream. Pros should tune in. I also did reach out to Porter if he wanted to come on the flank because we already had the flank going. So if he didn't want to come on, he can. If he wants to do it on the stream, whatever he wants to do. But what the fuck does he mean by that? Ben, we'll start with you because you sound like you were going to say something.
I mean, I don't understand. I don't really know kind of where he's going for. I mean, I think the biggest thing with this offseason, and we haven't yet talked about it on the show, that is kind of going to change a lot of the dynamic, I think, with player contracts is we moved away from everybody's on a 1+1. You now have the option to be on a multitude of different deals up to 3 years. It could have team options at the end of 1 or 2 of those years. You could have a fully guaranteed contract. You can sign a 1-year deal. So there's a more variety we're going to see here of engagement that players are going to have with teams. So I don't know, maybe that's where he's going down, but
wait, that's crazy though, Ben. If people are able to sign 3-year deals now, are they guaranteed or no?
You could sign a 3-year guaranteed deal.
No fucking way,
you could
bro.
You could sign a 2-year deal with a team option.
People are gonna be getting bags, series bags. I know you have already been talking about one, Ben, with Paco.
Yeah, I mean, so kind of been, after the conversation on stream the other night, I kind of did some digging around, talked to a lot of people around his camp, around the New York camp, around other teams that are talking to him. And it seems like he's going to get a decent sized contract is what it looks like. The numbers that are being... Listen, I'm building up, Zen.
Decent? Fucking...
We'll tell everybody what you mean by decent.
Let me go. But No, I mean we're talking mid six figures. We're talking big enough that he's probably going to be, second. Maybe if some of this cools off a little bit, maybe the third highest paid player in the league. But I think, from my opinion, it's going to be a kind of big bump you see with massive free agent contracts like this. Does it meet his value?
Wait, Ben, who's the number one highest paid in the league?
I mean, it's got to be Scump, right?
Yeah,
I mean, should we just not? Well,
Yeah.
I feel like we leave Scump out of these because everybody knows like he's number one. It's not even close, and it's well deserved as well. But I feel like Paco on a $500,000 contract. Whoa, bro, are contracts getting better? Are they getting like this? Like, are there multiple players who are shooting for that number?
I mean, we'll have to see kind of how this free agency plays out. I don't think there are a lot of players outside of maybe Paco and someone like Dylan who might get kind of major deals. Dylan more so than Paco to me makes more sense because, Dylan's a very good player, superstar player. He also does a lot from an organizational standpoint for generating revenue via brand deals, via doing deliverables for sponsorship, media, like all that stuff, where Paco is, I think, less friendly and also less comfortable doing that. May also, but one more thing though, real quick, and this is going to be another important thing I think in all of this. We have to see what the renewal or contract extension market's like probably later in the fall for some of these players that are already on contracts that are going to try and lock themselves up for more years. We'll see what those numbers look like. I would assume things will go up. I mean, inflation, costs are gone up. There's a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
But I do think, we'll get to a certain point where I wouldn't say that every player in the league is worth, mid six figures. I feel like that valuation is probably too high for some folks.
Here's the reason for someone like Hydra. First off, when you compare him to someone like Attach, I mean, SMGs are just worth more than ARs, unless we're talking like there's a very few number of ARs who are worth what like an S tier SMG is, just because they're harder to come by. So when you have an S tier SMG, become a completely free agent, and you have, I mean, just to be very honest, pretty much every single team in the league who wants an SMG gunning for them. I mean, if you're New York or if you're any other of these teams, you're going to have to offer something absurd.
New York has like no choice
to lock them in, right? So like that's why a number like that is being thrown around. Just traditionally, I mean, SMGs are just, as soon as Rostermania starts, they're like what everybody's going for is like, let's get our SMGs and then we can.
Well, they are harder to come by. Like a really strong SMG player, especially somebody like Paco. Like he's a really good player. So I mean, it makes sense. I just didn't think it would be that high.
I didn't think so either.
Usually, because what was he on before, Ben? 150, 150, I think.
I'm not sure what his previous contract was. Here's the thing, though, with someone like Paco. I agree with you, Zen. Some players are always going to be getting a little bit more of a premium, especially in a free agent situation. Multiple suitors, obviously the cost is going to go up, price is going to go up. The thing I caution about the Paco deal, and this may be something we'll have to revisit a couple years down the line. Paco signs a deal like this, the parameters of his engagement with an org change dramatically. It becomes less of, well, we're trying to keep this guy around, to now you have this big contract. And with that comes a responsibility to help this team have success, recruit players. And you've got to follow through on that. So it's going to kind of change his relationship with the org a bit. And he's going to have some more responsibility that he's going to have to deliver on. Or what might likely happen in this deal is, he's not going to be able to get a further extension down the line, depending on the size of this.
I mean, yeah, but if he could get that money now, I mean, that's a good grab, no, Ben?
I mean,
No,
I don't think he cares what he has to
100%.
do.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that.
I would also
Okay.
assume that this contract would be like not guaranteed. Like even if it is a super high value, I would anticipate it being like following the standard rules of the buyout, like 1 or 2 or 3, whatever the minimum amount of months are, for a team to get rid of this contract.
Usually I'd agree with you, but I think with the situation like he's in, when you have like so many teams gunning for you, I don't think you really have a choice whether to.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think New York's like would give the highest number to keep him, but not the guaranteed amount. To me, if they give a guarantee of any kind, it's literally
That's
suicide
crazy.
for their
Yeah,
org.
that's
It's suicide.
That is nuts. That's why I asked if these deals are guaranteed, but I guess that's something that's negotiated, whether or not the contract's guaranteed or not.
Right?
I think if I were New York, the red line for me, like the ultimate red line, is like we can fully guarantee a contract, but if we buy out, we're only on the hook for the remainder of that league year.
Yeah,
and then
right.
we're not on the hook for if there's an additional year left in the contract.
Then
So
it's
let's
not
be like a
guaranteed,
baseball.
Ben. It would be that's what the
It's a
contract would be.
Partially guaranteed. Partially.
Yeah.
I mean, so
I'm actually curious.
Well, they
to
just negotiate that amount of months, like whatever that amount of months
if
they're
I'm New York,
comfortable
I'm not guaranteeing myself like this. We get into baseball. This is the problem with baseball, right? With MLB contracts, this is where you get into real trouble because if you fully guarantee a long-term contract like that and something, God forbid, happens or you have a disagreement with the player, like you're screwed, you're on the hook because it's a fully guaranteed contract. But if I'm New York, it's like, we'll give you the number you want, but you got to give us some protection in this deal. Like it's a little bit
I'm
of
actually
a
curious
give and
though
trade.
if he talked to anybody else, because for him to just like outright, if this is true, give that number over that long of a period kind of is nuts. If like he wasn't even shopped around, right?
He was definitely shopped around, Chris.
That's actually absurd.
To Zin's note, there are for many of the free agents, the top tier free agents that we've talked about on the show, I've talked about on my YouTube, Tommy, you've talked about in videos, like a lot of these teams who, and we'll get to it, like a team who's maybe protected the team options of 4 or 5 players, they're still going to shop around these free agents and see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, why wouldn't you? As a player, if you're a free agent and you're not shopping around, then that's just not good business. You know, if you're a free agent, you can go wherever you want, especially if you're a player like Paco who has that leverage, right? Like teams know he's good. A lot of teams probably want him. I mean, at that point, you just shop it around because you get one offer from another place. You bring it back to New York. Boom, they give you an offer. You bring that offer to another. You know, you just keep it going until eventually somebody bites the bullet and says, all right, you know, we're done. You know, and then that's kind of how the big contracts kind of all play out. But I definitely think Paco's doing the right, or his agent at least, right? Because Paco has an agent. And then his agent's got to be doing a good job shopping him around if he's getting a contract like that.
Yeah, being his agent right now has got to be a fun gig.
To be fair, I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I mean, I think New York kind of should do this, but I don't think NY loses here if they don't keep Paco. I think it would be a minor setback, but in terms of like cost effectiveness, I think they would still be okay, even if they didn't have to eat this massive contract from Hydra.
Yeah, I think it depends who they get, right? I mean, it depends who's on their who their
Well, I
plan
mean, we
B
saw it.
is.
There's 33 free agents.
You guys are thinking a little too small, I think.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you can get all of them. You know, it
Here's
depends.
the thing.
But if you're willing to give Paco $500K,
Yeah, I mean, they must be dropping money.
It
for
all
sure.
depends. It all depends on their goals as a franchise. Like they can definitely lose out on this. Like if they don't guarantee this guy's spot. You've already said there's a lack of good submachine guns in the league. These guys have been in the last couple of years at points in times in their career. Well, as an organization, being able to contend and like win championships. Sure, they had like a big setback at the beginning of the season, but even then they bounced back. For them, if they're trying to win, right, if they're trying to find success, they had a good core with like, at least in their SMG with Hydra and Kismet. It's almost like a proven formula to like work. They just have to find the right supporting cast to kind of push them further. So if they're trying to obviously win, like them losing Paco will set them back a lot because they would have to find another SMG that would have zero chemistry, et cetera, and then find another supporting cast. Like he's an integral piece to this organization. Like,
you guys, you're thinking. I would put it in a little bit of a different light if you're New York. Think about it. You gotta step away and look at the whole picture, right? They were heavily trying to get this guy in 2 years ago. Tom, you remember when you were on the team?
Yep.
Obviously, there was a little bit of sort of development going on there. He got put on the lineup. He was a revelation. Obviously, this year they had their ups and downs, and this is them going to him and saying, "Look, like we're falling through. We scouted you. We wanted to bring you in. We're making you a superstar." But I'll say this again: the big thing here is it's a lot on Hydra's shoulders. You're going to potentially get this large contract. The parameters change now. You're not just a good player on this team. You are the franchise player.
Yeah.
And it's going to come with additional responsibility.
Yeah, none
He's
of
a
this
young guy.
trying shit anymore.
Yeah, he's a young guy, and some of his ex-teammates, and I guess Paul's still kind of on the team now, came on here and said, he's got some issues where he shows up some days and he's not giving 110%. And I think for a lot of players, probably in this call, you all agree, you expect your players and yourself to get on every day and try. Like he's got to not only go 100%, he's probably going to be expected to sort of help with some of the team chemistry, team bonding stuff now as a franchise player. So a step up for Paco, more responsibility. And if he falls through on it, man, like he's cracking that list now.
But that makes no sense. That's such ass backwards thinking, Ben. You don't pay somebody and then assume they're going to do that. You wait until they prove they can do that, and then you pay them.
Unfortunately, in sports, that's not always how it works, Pat.
I think you guys are just overthinking it. I think you have a
it
prime
doesn't matter.
S-tier SMG player who has multiple offers at different teams, and you have to throw him.
You have to lock
inflated
him in.
offer to
You
get
won't.
him in.
You'll lose him. You'll
Yeah,
lose him unless you give him a
100%.
bag.
Guys,
It's
all these
very
contracts are
like
risk.
all this horse shit. I mean, I'm sorry, but like I don't think New York is giving him. If this is all true, obviously it's all hypothetical, but I don't think New York's going to give him whatever that much money and be like, oh, now you're the team leader and you're in charge of team cohesiveness. Like that's not his fucking responsibility.
No,
It's his job to show up and go hard and be a good teammate, but it's not his job. It is not his job to be the end all be all, fucking make sure we're cohesive and make sure we're getting along. Like that falls on the staff. It's his job to not be detrimental to any of those things, but it's not his job to be the spearhead of it.
I vehemently disagree because they are elevating this guy significantly if they sign a deal to this size. They're moved on for Porter. Look at the team they have now. Like he is their franchise piece. That comes with more additional responsibility than he is right now.
I think
one
with the way
more thing though, I want to respond to what Pat said. Pat, I get where you're coming from, but unfortunately, in something like COD, where there's scarcity of role positions, you got to take a risk sometimes. That's how it works. These decisions are made about managing risk and reward.
This isn't a risk.
It's a risk because
there's a known variable here. This guy was playing Valorant when his team was trying to qualify for champs with his potential new teammate the year ahead. He wasn't trying in practice. He was just like not showing up. Like Ben, there's known variables here. It's not just an assumption.
Risk?
One at a time. Hey, hold on. First, one at a time. Go ahead, Pat.
It's not a risk, Ben, because you already know it's true. It's not like an unknown thing.
Pat.
You know it's true. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, I'm sorry you're curmudgeon living in a cave.
Bro, that's just not how it works.
People can't evolve. Bro,
people don't change like that.
He's super young. He's not like some 26-year-old kid. He's got time to develop.
This guy
barely grew up. Let's think about it, Pat. This guy turned 18 and was playing professional COD.
So did I. What? I was playing professional COD at 15.
And you had
What's
a
the difference?
you had a long runway before you started playing full time.
We also came from a different era, Pat.
Ben,
so that's not even like comparable.
Look, you just made a perfect example. He was already getting paid 150 grand last year as an 18-year-old, right? Whatever it was. If you're getting paid 150 grand at 18 and you still aren't trying and you're not putting in effort and you're like causing internal conflicts with teammates, like 500 grand isn't going to improve it. Like you're already getting paid enough money that you should be trying. You should be doing the things that would
all
fucking,
I'm saying is,
all-star superstar player on your team would do.
Go ahead, Chris. Let Chris have the floor. Go ahead, Chris.
Honestly, I kind of want to wrap up just New York because like we've already talked about them on the last show. We had their big moment there, and then we're already diving into this. So last thing I wanted to say was I think in general this is not even just for Hydra. This is just a big moment for the New York Subliners in general. They're going to be dumping a lot of money into this roster, especially into Hydra. We've already seen that these guys came on, and granted of what you think of them, they've acknowledged their mistakes. Hydra already pointed out that he can definitely be better in that aspect. D-Real obviously said the same, and I'm assuming he's going to be there next year. And then they're obviously making changes in terms of the inner workings of the organization with getting rid of JP and Revan, regardless of if you agree with it. I think in general, these guys are going to need to step up and go above and beyond. I don't care if they fucked up this season. I don't care if they've had these sorts of problems. Like, bro, I'm going to take Ben's side here. The guy's a kid. Like, sometimes it's going to take a while to click. Like, look at me, dude. I'm a fucking grown-ass man. But
exactly. The guy's a kid. You don't pay him $500K.
All right, well, listen, Chris, hold on, Chris.
Hey, you want the $500K?
Hold on. Listen, bro, we're going in circles now, right? Let's move on. One thing I wanted to mention was salary cap. I know a lot of people are mentioning salary caps. What's the salary cap?
I'm pretty sure there's no more salary
cap. There's no cap?
Salary cap is gone, guys. No and everyone asking for salaries to be public. It's never going to happen. If you want them to be public, Go tweet Seth on Twitter and ask him to expose his salary and how it works, and then maybe salaries will be public. But until then, salaries will never be public.
We have we have a pretty good understanding. I mean, when it comes to actually making them public, like giving an actual number and shit. But we have a pretty good understanding where people are at and what they're making.
Getting leaked versus like an actual public
right. I get that.
Form having it stated.
I didn't know that the salary cap was no more. I had no idea. I thought they upped it. I didn't think they got rid of it. which might actually
I
cause.
could be wrong. I'm pretty
No,
sure there's
it's
no more
so
cap.
the deal is so there was articles, I want to say it was like a year ago. It was during the pandemic. So the DOJ basically started kind of doing an investigation into OWL and CDL because apparently the way labor laws work in the United States, there's rules about salary caps when you don't have a contractual bargaining agreement, right? So we talk about the NBA, the NFL, the MLB, like the Players Association, right? Collectively bargains on behalf of the rights of the players in order to guarantee certain rights, some of it's structure of the league, et cetera, et cetera. And then there was subsequent reporting a couple of months later that the salary caps were no longer a thing.
Interesting. Well, I had no idea about that, so that's the first I'm hearing now, which is big news, bro. That is huge if there's not a salary cap. But for those of you asking about a salary cap, there you go. And I think we should move on. I think we've been talking a lot about New York. Let's move on and talk about the Florida Mutineers. They came out and released this statement yesterday. As of today, Two Real, Skies, Yeez, Awakening, and Major Maniac are unrestricted free agents for the upcoming Modern Warfare 2 season. We want to thank these players for representing our organization and being an absolute pleasure to work with through the highs and the lows. Rostermania is going to be wild. We'll have more information to share in the coming months. # Fear the Deep. Dave Patty, not on this list.
Can you scroll down to find Ogre 2's tweet?
I sure can. Here you go, Pat.
I think he replied
Ogre
right under
2
it,
said
yeah.
clarification to Caesar, Awakening Yeez have their contracts expiring on 8/22. So that's in what, like 5 days, like a week? The org will not exercise the option on Two Real Major Maniac contracts. We'll be in talks with a lot of players in the coming weeks, including some of these guys. Dave Patty is still under contract.
Dave's contract just probably didn't end. Like he probably just got signed for like a longer period of time.
Well, neither did Two Reals or Major Maniacs.
That's not how it works. So
I don't know how it works.
Ben, explain it. Explain it.
No, Major Maniacs is probably over. I mean, if they acquired the rights of Major's contract from Minnesota, I'm assuming it ended this year. Two Real, they probably just chose not to pick up. Dave, I'm assuming, is on the min, and they're just picking it up for the time being.
No, they literally stated that they didn't exercise. They had the option on Major's contract. They just didn't exercise it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I guess you're right.
And I'm assuming it's because the pay was way too high for what they wanted to pay.
So
Do you see a spot where they maybe build around Dave and maybe get players around him?
Hell no.
You don't think so, Pat?
Hell
I just
no.
think it was weird. Their announcement was weird.
I mean, to be honest,
Well, look at their options, Tom. They didn't have Sky's Awakening or Yeez, so they couldn't renew his. Two Real sucked. You're not going to renew that one. Major Maniacs cost way too much. You're not going to renew that one. The only one you have left is Dave Patty, which is probably a min. So you might as well keep it.
Go ahead, Ben. Go ahead. You don't need to lose full. It's okay. It's all right. Go ahead, Ben. You get your chance to speak.
No, you guys already covered it. Keep going.
Okay.
I was actually saying going into the offseason, I looked at all the teams, like they are fucked because they don't have anything that can attract people. They lose their two superstars by them going into free agency, right? They don't have to sign them back, or like they don't have to go to that.
I don't think that's ever been their plan, Chris.
But also they have no subs. They have no SMGs. Who wants to go to that team?
Right.
So,
their plan is not to attract though.
I'm just saying they're fucked.
Like, their plan, which has been their plan since franchising begun, is just to sign the leftover like players that they can get that want to play with each other that aren't going to get spots individually.
I would say that there is a chance that might necessarily happen at Florida. There is a realm of possibility where they may end up with an interesting team. I've heard a lot of rumors around potentially what the squad is. I don't know if it's going to happen. It requires them making some moves that are players that are not free agents. And we've seen in the past with Florida, that's like 50-50 at best. But if it does happen, I think we'll be having a different conversation about this team.
What's the team? Put it in the chat.
I'm not saying it on the show, but I can
Put in the chat.
I can put it in the chat.
I think same situation that it's always been for Florida. They'll have some upsets.
Do they at least have some machine gun players and we can't leak here, Ben? You don't want to leak? You don't want your source to get
I
out?
don't even know. I don't even know if I want to type it in TeamSpeak, to be honest.
Oh, wait, I actually know exactly what's happening. I remember.
They got some meh guys. They got some meh guys.
Some meh, like what do you say, mid? You're
I
saying?
I don't want to.
Yeah, they got some machine guns.
You can't say this on. You can't say that I said this.
Guys,
You
the
can't
reason
say
we're
this in
not,
general.
we're definitely not, guys. The reason we're not going to leak this on stream, guys, is because it's not a 100% thing. It's a rumor. It would very much disrupt conversations, and like as much as we would like to break news, I think this definitely kind of crosses the line on the
Chat,
show.
I'm leaking it. They got some mad guys. Like I'm telling you.
I'm pretty sure it's what what Chris put in the chat.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it's what he
some-
put in chat.
Listen,
Yeah, it
chat,
is.
it's mid. It's mid.
Let's just put it this way, right? I'll give you guys a hint. Like, obviously, it's not our position to leak certain things, but just put it this way: it's a group of guys that have played with each other and been playing with each other. So just put it that way. That's the only thing I'll say. It's not like when you see this team, you'll be like, how do they form? Like these, when it happens, you'll realize, you'll see it.
You'll be like, all right.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, but they were never in a position in this Rostermania or this offseason, Pat, to really, I think, make some killer, like, all of a sudden they're a top 5 team. Like, for me, what Florida needs to do is reset. And in the way that Zin, like,
I've done that every year.
Well, can I finish? You're just going to cut me off.
Go ahead, Ben. Go.
That's what they're doing.
Or am I going to be able to talk, or you're just going to keep interrupting me? Like, what's
Ben,
the
you
Ben,
delay by stopping instead of just continuing to talk.
Ben, go ahead. You're good.
So I think for Florida, look, my perspective on Florida's situation is to start a 2-year project. I talked about this in the same way with you guys in Boston. I think you guys had a great year 1. Like, for Florida, it's about building a new foundation of a team. You may not be a top 6, top 8 team the first year. If you can, great, but it's about finding a couple of pieces that you can build around, because you're probably losing Skies. You're probably losing Big Wakes. So you need some new centerpieces to really develop. And then maybe in that second year, you can get into the kind of top 3 or top 4. Because my big thing, another kind of piece in Rostermania, and we'll probably start talking about with some of these teams once they get confirmed, is like, I don't really see a lot of paths for any teams to become infinitely better or very much in the same tier of the existing top 4 teams in the league. So I'm talking Seattle, these OpTic FaZe, if they all stick, like a lot of the squads they're going to see formed, I don't really know if they're going to entirely stack up to some of those squads.
Ben, after talk, I forgot that I even knew this until I don't know, it just clicked in my head before I posted in TeamSpeak. Seeing the people that they potentially get, unless they're dipping their hands into strictly challengers, I think they could have been in a worse spot. Which is so when I said they're fucked, honestly, I think if this is true, it's probably a better situation than I initially thought. But like Pat said,
Bro, what are we talking about? This is not impressive by any means.
No one said it's impressive. Who said it's impressive?
This to me, honestly, is less upset potential than they had this year. No one said they're not, but they already went. We already said they went to Rostermania essentially fucked, right? This is salvageable to a small degree. It's not where they don't have to fully dip into challengers at this point and take 4 risks. I agree with Chris. It's definitely a better position than I initially thought they would be in. Is what I'm telling you. No one is saying it's impressive. No one's saying they're gonna win. No one's saying bro. You're just cooking Florida to cook Florida. We're already cooking them enough. There's no point. I just think the league is kind of in a spot where it's kind of whack because Florida is obviously not an org today, yesterday, tomorrow, at any point that is going to go and offer any player in the CDL a $500,000 contract, right? To that regard, we know that. And so by default, and this is why I hate the CDL, by default, they're just fucked. And when we have a limited 12 slots, to me, it just ruins the competition because everything gets so top heavy. At least in sports, you have some teams that can at least offer maxes, whether they're a small, medium, or large market, and they can get stars. The problem with the CDL is you just can't get stars.
You don't. I would say this: if you want to go down that example, look at what a team I'm going to use a sports analogy, and you're going to hate me, and it's going to be whatever. But look at the Tampa Bay Rays, bro. If you invest in finding and developing young talent because you're not going to spend the bag on people, you can overperform your slot. Yes, they're not going to be able to recruit stars, but they may create a mechanism and a way to find people young and build a good team of good chemistry. And you never know in the CDL.
You don't do that by taking a team that's already been a team, Ben. By that logic, you don't just we're just going to get a previous team and pay them less.
Different. You're saying 2 mutually different things.
I'm saying exactly what I'm trying to say. Your example is taking a random group of people that are
12 teams. It's by default going to be top heavy, and if you're Florida, you never have a chance to win.
The Call of Duty League will never.
That's a fact.
Call of Duty League will never ever not have this issue. You're either just hoping if there's a small amount of franchises that they are all loaded, or there's a ton of other franchises and there's like a salary cap. Because if there's actually a salary cap to a degree, then people won't be able to pay these exorbitant amounts of cash to keep these superstars. But that's just the sad reality of it, is it's never going to happen. Like,
It's not even about keeping stars. It's about recruiting stars.
there isn't any. I've said this. There are good players. I'm not going to say there isn't in challengers. There is not that many simps. Everyone wants Simp and Abizi. Let's be fucking real here.
I don't think it has anything to do with
is
simp.
getting bro. I'm saying, bro. I'm saying the caliber of players, bro. It's a fucking it's a saying. Not
Well, I mean,
everyone
to be
is going
fair,
to
the
get those
people that
players.
run challengers are players that have been in the pro league before.
Okay, but
Yeah, majority.
I mean,
right?
literally,
what I'm-
Not all.
pros go down to challengers and there's shit on everybody.
Literally KD, bro.
They literally just.
well,
What do you mean?
What?
I played
Watch
Black
that.
Challengers tournament,
Bragg,
had a
Classic,
1.3
and
with a
Exceed
sub.
just won champs,
Yeah,
right?
well,
Exceed was in
Mohawk,
in
too, we got
challengers
to
more
remember.
often than he was actually playing the pro
Bragg's
league.
been a pro for multiple years.
Yeah, Black
like,
Ops
Classic
4.
has literally been a pro for a decade.
Okay, you guys are gassing it and disrespecting like the amateurs. There are still good amateurs out there, and a lot of the
How? We're talking about who won.
a
Are we
lot of the
talking about
people.
like Toronto
Bro,
Academy?
you-
NA?
hold
I know
on,
Sub was on
guys,
the
guys,
list.
guys.
Scrap
what-
and
listen.
Hixie are in the pro
But
league.
listen,
Yeah, well,
listen.
you're not
One
talking
at a
about
time,
pro
bro.
players, you're talking
One
about-
at a time,
Yeah,
bro.
let me
Chris,
finish.
go ahead,
You're
Chris.
talking.
Go
You're
ahead.
talking about. There are pros on certain teams that are sprinkle about the top end, but a lot more of the amateurs are the ones that are getting noticed and superstar level. And I'm not saying, but regardless, the whole thing that I'm trying to say is that there's not that many fucking super uber talented players that teams are going to get, bro. Like you think the way you make it seem, Pat, the way you talk about this stuff is that every single team can have the type of can be as good as like the phases and optics of the fucking world. No,
Well, they
you can't.
can if the format is correct. Look at
The format won't
phase and
matter.
the optics.
There isn't enough
Bro,
players.
you don't go in the NBA and say the full starting five are full max contract superstar players. That's why the CDL
can't
model
compare this to
copying.
the
No, you
NBA.
can. We're copying sports models. That's what the CDL did. They copied a sports model. You can't have that same comparison, but then allow teams to have all-star like teams. Like that's literally phase is literally like the West All-Stars.
So
And-
what's your solution then if they can't have a salary cap?
I mean, you have to have a salary cap in. That's the whole point, and it has to be to a point.
You need other
where-
franchises to spend
They're
money.
not. You didn't listen to my question. If you can't have a salary cap, what's
I
your
just said that,
solution?
Don. It's not going to happen.
Then you either make the cost of the league drastically less expensive, so teams can actually pay players
yep.
to get this get the salaries to get the best players, right? Like the fact that a team can't come in. Here's another thing, Ben. Why expansion is literally impossible. If I want to come in, I have $25 million. I'm backed. I can get a spot. Why would I come in? I literally can't grab not one of the 12 best players, no matter what I pay them. Like,
It depends on what this is. Guys, to
do you
Chris's
mean?
point.
That's a good point.
Well,
well,
to
but
Chris's-
Ben, no, Ben. If
No,
I
no,
come
let me-
in
let
and
me
I
finish.
offer
No,
somebody on
don't.
phase, no, this is my same point. If I come in and I offer somebody on phase a max contract, right, $1 million a year, why would they come and play for my team when they could stay on phase, make 450, 400, whatever it is, and all four of them make 400 or whatever it is, and then make $3 million in prize money that year? Why would they leave? They
Well,
wouldn't.
there's
It's drunk.
A couple of things here. Well, the phase situation is so unique in the way they've absolutely been in the mix last 3 years. Put that to a side. There's a weird Rostermania this year because the top four teams are sticking. The top four teams are super deep in talent. So the kind of like talent distribution amongst the remaining players, and there are, to Chris's point, yes, there are some very good players available, but it's a lot of, like you've used like baseball analytical terms like replacement or
Bro, there are so many more
players.
sports. Come on.
Okay, well that's the
Bro,
analogy I'm going to use. So, but
It'll never be that way unless there's a severe restructuring of the league's format or something like that, which
so
is not fucking realistic.
I mean, the
The other-
CDL
at all.
blows.
I mean,
The other piece
listen,
to it, too-
I personally, Ben, you can go. We just talked at the
Go,
same
Ben,
time.
sorry.
You don't need
No,
to get
I wanna-
aggravated. I haven't
wanna
said a word in
address
5 minutes.
Chris' other point is I disagree that
You're good.
if someone came in a really good market and you timed the right offseason to come in when players are getting off of different contracts, you could definitely convince someone on one of these mega teams to leave. It's definitely doable. To sit here and say, no, it's never going to happen. Bro, you can't predict
but
the
Ben, there's
future
no
1 or
cap.
2 years out in that way.
There's no cap. Why wouldn't FaZe just match it? They will.
Now, you think that phase is going to match something like that? If someone
Bro, they
came in
make
off of the
every
golf
grand finals. Yes.
I don't think that's always how that works, Chris. And Pat,
I
be
mean,
honest.
Chris didn't say anything, but yes.
Like I think your guys' perception of how the business work is a little bit off, but that's all good.
Bro, what do you mean? Hydra is potentially getting paid $500K. I don't think these orcs know the business. What do you mean?
Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead, Chris.
Ben, unless something proves it otherwise, the way things have worked over the last couple of years, there's nothing that you can say otherwise. Like if the way Pat, I'm like disagree. The reason sometimes I disagree with what Pat thinks is because the way he thinks is he thinks that every team can be built in this manner, and with the way the league is structured, like it's not gonna happen. Like
Guys,
so, like having some of these conversations
Which is the literal problem with
you
the
want to talk
CDL.
about the face thing? Have you guys considered that team sticks together because they like to team with each other and they don't want to team with anyone else? Have you guys considered?
No,
it's less about cost. It's more
That
ways
could be
to everybody
true,
else.
but they make
that has
every
something to do with
grand
it.
final, and they make $3 million every year guaranteed in prize money.
Yeah, they've been consistently good the last couple of years. You are not wrong. But to say that, wow, like if someone came in with a great business plan and the ability to recruit a couple of people, that's just an impossible scenario that would never happen. It's ridiculous to me, but it's all good.
Okay, well, let's move on.
Because they're just not going to be able to get
it's all
talent.
right. Well, listen, you guys both gave your points. Bada bing, bada boom. Let's move on to the next team, the Minnesota Rokkr. They're another team that obviously Attach, right? Attach is kind of like their superstar player, and Attach, he's a free agent, and he's been shopping around as he should. Where do you think the Rokkr go with their team, and what do you think they should do? Do you think they should build around Attach? Do you think they should just drop Attach a bag, build around him, and see who they can get? Because I feel like Attach has a lot of pool right now. He could pull a lot of players, I feel like. I mean, I don't know exactly who he can pull, but I feel like he has... Well, I mean, no, not really. I haven't talked to Dylan about that. I mean, I've talked to Dylan about him shopping other offers around and just seeing like who's available, but that's just like common sense.
I think if I'm Minnesota, I try my hardest to keep attached. And unless there's some sort of like issues where they won't play each other, you probably keep Standy, because I think Standy was good at MW when he was in Challengers. He had a good Cold War year. I think a lot of different players like kind of like fell off in certain aspects in this year, and Standy might have been one of them. But I don't think he's he realized his full potential yet, and we already discussed how SMGs are kind of needed. And I think that's probably their best starting point if they're going to retain two of their players and re-sign them. But as far as everything else, I don't know, man. I don't know where else they could go with this one.
I think Dylan coming back is definitely possible. And if I were Minnesota, I'd be trying. That's a good picture. It's pretty funny. If I were Minnesota, I'm definitely trying to keep Dylan. He's someone to definitely build around. I will say, though, Chris, as good as Standy was kind of in the last game, I think the ship with him in Minnesota sailed. I think there's a little bit of tension. Unless they can figure that out, I think his future is probably elsewhere.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know about that. But like if that's the case, then yeah, he's probably out. But I mean, he's also probably an interesting piece. I think I would be looking at him if I was looking for a submachine gun player on a team for sure.
But the only thing I'll say with Standy is it's similar kind of concept to Hydra. Is like young player. Still has some development work to do. If he continues to progress in the way that he can progress, like he can be a good piece. So I'm really curious to see kind of where he goes, but I don't know if the reunion with Minnesota will happen again.
Yeah, I mean the team's definitely not staying together. That's for
where
sure.
else could you guys see Attach going if it wasn't like fresh rebuild? Like
LAG.
I can see him going to LAG. Yeah, LAG would be a good place to put him. Just because there's a lot of spots open over there. Dylan's from that area.
Oh, he's an LA boy.
He's an LA boy. He's an LA boy, which matters, bro. Shit like that matters. It matters a lot,
bro.
So people are saying Vegas, New York. I mean, Dylan can ultimately go to a lot of different teams, but it ultimately depends on who he wants to play with, right? And who wants to play with him. That's why it gets difficult. Like Zinni said, right? And I've talked to Dylan. Dylan doesn't even know. He has an idea, and obviously I'm not going to leak all his ideas, but there's a lot of options. There's a lot of places where he can make a play, and
he's got leverage.
He's got a lot of leverage. He does have a lot of leverage, and I thought he could stay on Minnesota Rokkr. I thought Rokkr might keep him. But if they do keep Dylan there, they're gonna have to make Dylan happy, because Ben, you had mentioned that Dylan, you think there's a little tension there. I didn't know there was tension there. I know that players don't want to live in Minnesota. That's all I know. His players just hate living in Minnesota because throughout the whole year you're in Minnesota and it's cold as fuck, and they
during game release, bro, snowing and shit. You ain't going outside.
Well, no, seriously. I mean, I feel like it could definitely take a toll on your mental, but I feel like that's an easy fix for Rokkr. Get a place in Texas. You're central, get good internet. Warm weather. I mean,
I think they were there. I think they were there Cold War season. Then they moved up to Minnesota for the last one.
yeah,
So
Minnesota wanted them there for content shit. Which, listen, I understand why Rokkr wants him there, but they might need to just bring him to somewhere else, dude, and just do content elsewhere. Because I know New York did that. Even when I was on New York and we all moved out to Texas, they also moved out the content team, the people who make the content. They moved everybody out there, and we were just filming in Texas. So I could see that happening. I could
They did
definitely
that
see
when I was on
Rokkr.
Thieves too.
Standy said
Oh, they
something in
did that
chat.
on
He
Thieves
said,
too?
Yeah,
we
yeah.
won more online than on LAN. Was that, are you talking about when you were in Texas or during the time you were in Minnesota? Well, let him keep answering, but just keep going with the conversation.
Well, no,
I'll
I mean,
keep an eye on
as
what
somebody
he
said,
said.
I live here in Minnesota. It's not that bad, to be honest, and I'm sure it's not that bad. You know, listen, it's
if
just
you've lived
cold.
there before, but if you're someone like, who isn't from the area, maybe you live more in a West Coast spot, moving to Minnesota is definitely a little bit of a culture change and a little bit of a shift.
It's more than that. It's horrible for anyone that doesn't want to be there. Like,
I'll try to be polite about it, but I mean, here's the
and we
thing.
know this. Like, that's what we've heard. Like, it sucks. Like, Minnesota just isn't where gamers want to be. Period.
But here's what I'll say about the Minnesota org is I think, as we all know, they are definitely supportive of trying to do best by what'll make their team good. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're open to, moving their facility elsewhere, and figuring out a way for the team to be in somewhere where it will be a little bit better for maybe their mental. And that comes back to the Dylan thing. I think that's Dylan's gonna be a big piece of that because he's got the leverage to make those kind of institutional changes. And if I'm Minnesota, I think you got to be receptive because Dylan's someone to really build around. He's a good recruiter. He's a good player. You're centerpiece AR
he's
now.
a solid player to have on your team. He's a good player to build around. I personally would keep Dylan in the main AR spot, but I
I
don't.
think you have to. You have to.
which is I don't know if that's an option for him. Like, he needs to find a team where he can be the main AR, or if he goes to a team where there is a main AR, he's going to have to switch to that flex role, which I can also see him in a flex position. I can see Dylan in the flex role. Just not on the sub, because I just feel like Dylan with an AR, he's just really good with an AR.
No, he's not running SMG. I'll tell you that.
A flex that never pulls out a sub, maybe. But look,
Well,
aside from
he can run a
Dylan,
sub, Pat. He can run a sub.
he's just slow, and then the nature
Right,
of how
but a
games are played
flex,
today,
I mean,
you know how detrimental that can
Yeah,
be.
but I don't think a flex, I don't think a flex is gonna I don't think a flex interprets like pace in a way. I think
Yeah.
your sub players need to add pace.
I'll be right back, guys.
Either
I
way,
personally feel, my bad. I say this one
ahead.
thing.
Yeah,
I
go
think
ahead,
Dill can actually run a sub. I think a lot of people who you think aren't the best subs will be better subs next year because no slide cancel.
Yeah, that's
Like, I
true. The
think-
no slide canceling
I
is a
think
big game
confirming that?
changer.
Are you confirming that live on
I
the
mean, that's
flank?
just what I heard.
Oh,
I
no,
heard
no,
it.
no,
okay,
no, no,
okay,
no.
okay,
There's
okay.
no slide canceling. I've said that a
That's
million
what-
times. I've already said
I
that.
gotta be honest.
For now,
though,
until someone finds out how.
it's not about moving with Dylan. Like I just think the way
True.
that he plays the game and the way he tries to take chows is way more suited to him running an AR. He's way more impactful. He can definitely run a sub. Don't get me wrong.
But
He's
taking
very
chows
capable-
is going to be easier next year. That's my
I
only
get
thing.
that,
I
but
wanted to
you
just
know-
say that.
you know
yeah,
what I
he'll be
mean
better
by what
with
I'm
an
saying
AR
with
still.
Dylan.
I'm just saying, if he has to pull out a sub on some maps, like
He's chilling.
he'll
Yeah,
be
he's chilling.
fine. He'll be good enough to do that shit easily.
Let's not focus on Dylan as much. I want to focus on the Rokkr as an org. Because I think the Rokkr is probably top 3 org in the CDL, in terms of the amount of money they spend, the amount of support they give, just as an actual org, right?
They're a really good
At the
organization.
very top. I think they're one of the best.
Yeah.
The problem for me is they need to look back at the last 3 years, and to me, all 3 years were failures. Every single one. I know they got the crazy, mega Uber reverse sweep against Toronto, but aside from that, to me, the last 3 years were a failure. For as much money as we know they've spent, and I think I like other teams, I'm clearing out the coaching staff. I know Stanley's in the chat I went crazy in Cold War. Yeah, you came in mid-year and turned the season around, but that they started as a failure. So for me, I'm clearing out the entire coaching staff, or at least restructuring. I know they've added as they went on, but I think they need to restructure in terms of how they handle that. In terms of players, I'm probably I would clear them all out. Maybe I bring back Attach on an AR role. I just don't think the system that they've been playing with in a year has worked or produced successful results.
I still remember Minnesota is the absolute kings of, but we were frying in scrims before the event, and we just like, dude, I swear, the amount of
Tony's
times
team was doing that too. Tony, you guys are doing
The
that.
amount
Every
of times
team,
I've seen
every
Brian
team.
say tweet that though, like, no, I'm not trying to throw shots at him, but Brian's always tweeted that dude every single time, dude.
To be straight up to your point, Pat, because I agree with you. I mean, they were 8th in hardpoint in last season, the season before last, and I think a lot of that, again, they brought in Sandy, and I think the pacing was a lot better. But they were near the bottom for a long time in that game. And then this year, they were 9th in hardpoint. Like if they want to match up against these top teams and consistently win, they need to build a squad that can play a better system at hardpoint and win more consistently. They consistently handicap themselves on map 1, and then they've got to get out of here by being a good S&D team, which they have been also the last couple of years, but it's not a consistent way to win in this league.
They've been good, but also inconsistent.
Consistency is what every team's shooting for too. I mean, it's not just the Rokkr. That's what everybody's looking for. Everybody's looking to make a roster that could consistently compete. I think building that roster is where it gets difficult because things get messy, man. Especially, bro, a lot of times with rosters is they'll be like a pack of people, right? Like a team of 2 that want to team with each other. Jesus Christ, over there, man.
Wait, what did you guys say about me? Sorry, I was
no, because Ben was talking about the Rokkr and how, or Pat, or one of them, I think it was Pat, talking about how, beforehand they were talking about scrims a lot, how good they were in scrims, that they were never shown for.
Yeah.
And I feel like you guys were like that too. I heard a lot of good things about you guys in scrims.
Yeah, I mean, we were the probably top 2 team in the world before New York Major and champs, and didn't translate it.
Which
It's all good, Tony. One round away, baby.
Yeah, 1 round away. But yeah, I definitely think building these teams, especially because players they come in packs. Sometimes you'll find a pack of 3 that want to stay with each other. We're already seeing it now. Well, pack of 2.
And I think that's the problem, Tom. Honestly, I think that's the problem.
Yeah, staying in packs can hurt you sometimes because if you go to a team, say you go to a team that has nobody on there, say Minnesota Rokkr, they have a clean slate, they don't have anybody there yet, they signed 2 guys that come in as a pack. You can also hurt yourself there. What if you're with a duo, you're really good, and your duo is like, okay.
Well, we talked about this.
Might turn people away. But go ahead,
People
Pat.
form these packs as a safety net, right? Like they want to play with their friends, people they get along with, people that wouldn't, want to drop them later on.
Sometimes it's they think they're good. You want to stay with a player because you think
they believe in them, man.
But the reality is they're not good, or they're not good together. And I think players, when they form these little trios or duos or whatever, they have that mentality where they think they're good, they get along, whatever it may be. But in reality, they just don't work together as a team. Like the team just sucks.
I mean, I think it depends on the team. I mean, like, look at beginning of the year Thieves compared to end of the year Thieves. Most teams would have broken up, and Thieves stuck it through, actually improved, didn't get weird on each other, and won back-to-back
And everybody called them a friendship board.
And everyone was saying Sam should have been dropped, and all these players
It's a double-edged sword,
They
man.
also had like some of the
and then they're
best
one of the
talent.
few teams. Yeah, of course.
That is true.
But they're one of the few teams that actually just stuck it out and didn't make changes at like the first or second hiccup. They worked through it, and they fucking won back-to-back.
But that's where things get tricky.
I mean, that's not saying every single team can do that.
I mean,
That's an anomaly
that's where
because
things get
Kenny
tricky,
was
though,
the
Pat.
world's best player a few years ago, and then decided to run an AR. Like, finally made a role switch, went back and got back-to-back MVPs. Like, that anomaly, I don't think is going to happen for other players who can kind of do that. They also had Sam, who's notoriously one of the best ARs in the world. Envoy was one of the best SMG in the world. Like, they had these factors to where they could kind of do that and it not backfire the same way. Where like 3 not anomalies, but 3 unproven sets of players are trying to make those same decisions and think if they stick, they'll work it out. When it's just not going to work like that.
But that's where it gets tricky, Pat, because if you have a player of friends, I'll put that in quotes, that are really talented that isn't performing, I think that's where a lot of people, they'll start saying friendship org, right? But it gets difficult when you have a team full of talent because you know it can work. You can work through like all those problems that they had and just get better as the year goes on. And we ran into that from AW to Black Ops 3, our FaZe team, right? Perfect example. Perfect. In AW, we were godlike, right? End of the year, we won like 3 out of the last 4, some shit. We were good. Black Ops 3, we were good, but we weren't winning events. We weren't getting the placings we want, but when we'd scrim, we knew we were a good team, and we tried to stick through it and try and win an event together, and we ended up not winning an event. And a lot of people were really angry that we didn't switch at the time. I remember a lot of people were really pissed off that we didn't make changes.
To be fair, though,
it's not
Tom,
that
you
we were
guys-
friends. We just found so much success. We knew what we could do, and we just never got back to that
But you
point.
guys also were some of the best players in the world.
Right,
like,
right.
You're,
top echelon of that tier.
Pat, you're not gonna find, bro. I'm not gonna say this again. You're not gonna find the best players in the world in every single team. But I will say that it's a double-edged sword.
So that's
You
my
can
point,
I
Chris.
think having people that believe in each other, that want to stick by each other and want to play together, is very important.
Yeah,
because
it's very
that-
important
because
to
they
burn a hole in your pocket and waste a year in the CDL.
It's not always going to be that way. We've already had proven examples. They might be anomalies in
name
your
one.
They might
Name
be anomalies
one.
in your aspect because of the type of players they are.
What's
But let's
one
be-
proven example,
You already
Chris?
said if he's giving you an example with FaZe. There's the 100 Thieves team. Like there's teams that have wanted to play together and stuck through
These are the
changes. and
literal best players in the world.
Bro, okay,
That's
and
not
you're not
mid
gonna,
players.
okay, bro. And now put it this way: would you rather have mid players that want to play together, try to build something and work something out, or would you rather have mid players that don't want to play with each other on a team, try to make something work? Like
If I'm the
it's a
business, I would
double-edged
rather put
sword.
together a team that makes more sense.
It's a
But
double-edged sword.
I agree with Chris. It is a really hard.
Like it's a tricky
spread.
line, bro.
But let's talk about
I don't
Thieves.
think so. I just think people aren't equipped enough to make these decisions.
Go ahead, Ben. Ben, you got the floor. Ben, you got the floor. Go
Let's
ahead.
talk about Thieves because last year, like they felt like they had to constantly switch up and it didn't work out for them. And this year, when everybody wanted to switch, it seemed like the front office made the call to stick it through, and like that ended up being the right decision. These are
What?
massive. But those are two facts.
Because Kenny was running an AR for 3 years after having one of the best seasons in CDL history in 2018, randomly decided to switch to an AR. And then finally, after the entire community knew he should go back to a sub, finally switched. I don't think the org just sticked it out and it worked out. Like they hired a brand new coach and got their their superstar guy on their team. Kenny from day one has been the guy on this 100T roster. Finally to run a role
He
that
makes
we've
fair
been
fucking
saying,
points, Ben, doesn't
yo, we need Kenny to be a fucking sub to contest with Simp and Abizi and some of the top other SMG talent. And he finally switched back. And
I think
what do you
that-
know, guys? It worked.
I think that take is
You
super.
fucking know, no way.
I think that take is super disrespectful to the other three players in the team who also stepped up around the same time. Yes, the Ken roll switch probably helped, but keep in mind, Envoy, Draza, Octane, like these were players that were super inconsistent for the first half of the season. They were playing a decent system. They were really struggling with the reads and S&D. All the players on it improved. If you just sit here and just say the Ken thing is the
Sure,
one
but
reason why they
Ben,
won,
you've never
that's
competed,
not
and
it.
I will tell you this right now: if your superstar goes from like a 0.8 to a 1.2,
Everyone's
the
gonna play better.
entire game gets easier.
Easier, yeah.
Literally,
It's easier. That's a fact.
literally
That's
the
a fact.
entire game gets easier. Because
That's fair.
I
but
don't-
you're-
I don't
Definitely
think-
the
You're
catalyst,
taking.
man.
You're taking.
I don't
you're
think
allowed to bring
Octane
all on
changed
Kenny's
at
shoulder,
all.
which I think is
No, I'm
ridiculous.
not. I don't think
But you
Octane
are, 'cause
changed
that's
at
what you just
all.
said.
I don't think Draza changed at all. I think they have been pretty much the same start to finish this year. I think Envoy started playing a little bit smarter and a little bit more team focused in terms of the plays he was making. But the biggest catalyst was just the fact that they had Kenny be a superstar, which he has supposed to have been day one on this team. And the entire game got easier. Yeah, they hired a coach and they just became a better team. But like when you're a competitor, if your superstar just steps up even a little bit, the entire game gets easier on every single player. Every single player.
People still got to execute, and those players started to play way better, including Sam, Draza, and an Envoy. And if you can't see that, then you're just not.
No, they
watching the game,
did.
brother.
They did.
I mean, yeah, it's also
Just saying
easier
Kenny
when
was the
your
catalyst.
superstar plays a lot better. Like,
Well, listen again. We're going in circles now, so let's move discussions because you guys both gave your points and shit.
Yo,
Everybody gave
Tom,
their
I got a
points.
quick question for you.
Yeah, sure. I'm all ears.
If you started running an NV4 in IW,
Okay.
do you think compared to when you ran a sub or a Maddox, would your other players play better?
They'd play significantly worse. I
If
feel
you
like
had an NV4.
if I was on an MV4, I feel like
Yeah.
if you have a really talented player who's really good on a sub, he can always be more impactful on a sub. You can make way more plays on a sub. That's a fact. I don't know how that can be argued. And I feel like somebody like Kenny was a perfect example because he was on a sub MVP, boom. Black Ops 4 came around, he moved to the Maddox, which I don't even care about. I think that was a good play on his part to go to the Maddox because the SOG shot absolute peas. But after that, I definitely think Kenny should have went back to his sub. He should have went back to being sub Kenny.
As soon as the SOG got buffed,
or even that, even yeah, exactly. Even when the SOG went hit scan, it would have been a good play for him to go back. He's just a talented player who should be on the gun that brings the most impact because that's the type of player he is. Yeah. And I think Donnie, you'd vouch for that. You think really highly of Kenny.
100%. 100%.
Ken had Donnie on a sub.
Yeah.
Nah, he's trying to pay me back for that, but I'm not letting him, bro. It's all good. He's like, I'm a Gucci model. You want some? I'm like, nah, I'm good, bro.
But let's move on. I see a lot of people in the chat because apparently Porter's ranting right now, and people are saying that Crimsix is retiring.
No, listen, they're trolling.
I know. I was gonna give my input on it. Yeah. I mean, listen, if Porter doesn't get on a team or doesn't get the team he wants, I mean, Porter's not going to challengers, you know. And I know Porter might come in here. He said he might join. But
neither is Clay.
Yeah, and the thing is, like a lot of these veteran players, like one, they either need to get on a team where they think they can compete. Like, bro, if you get a team offer and you're looking at your roster and you don't think it's worth it, he might just retire. He might just take a step. He might just take a step back.
Before Crim comes on the show and takes over, let's talk about the remaining rosters that we know things about. So what? LAG, we got Boston, we got the Ultra, and then we got Paris, and then what was the last
Toronto.
One more. Toronto. Yeah. Let's talk about these teams.
Let's start with Toronto. Toronto's an interesting one. I mean, we go on and on about some of these teams. We could stay here all day and talk, but Toronto is an interesting one for sure. It seems to me that they're going with the Insight Kleenex route, right? And they're getting rid of Bance and Cammy. Yeah. For now.
No Cammy?
That's what's surprising.
No Cammy. That's what we're hearing. That's what's being said.
That guy's potential was huge.
Just to give a little bit of context so we can kick this discussion off, they do obviously have what looks like a set lineup on paper. I do know that they're likely, as we discussed on the top of the show, probably still going to talk to some of these free agents, so that plan could definitely change. But I agree with you guys and curious your thoughts. I think the camp thing was surprising to me, for sure.
I just think
they have Scrappy, you know. That's probably why.
I think the choice of Insight over Cammy was the confusing part. Like,
yeah, it's a hard decision, Pat. That's a hard one.
I mean, not really. Cammy's
that's
not a main
hard for me.
Yeah, but Cammy can run a main if he wanted to.
I mean, I guess
or Scrappy.
Ultimately,
any good flex could technically run a main.
Yeah, but the decision you should ask yourself, or I'm hoping teams ask, is who's the more talented player. You should always go with who you think is going to bring more to the team.
Absolutely.
You know, and then you make the roles fit after you make the team. After you make obviously you need to think about roles, but I mean that's the switch that Cammy can easily do. He runs an AR most of the time.
If I was Toronto, it would be Cammy, Kleenex, and Scrappy, and then decide on the fourth. No matter which way you go, that's the decision you make. If you want to search in free agency for an upgraded sub, you do that. Obviously, they let go advance. If you want to use somebody that you have in-house already on a subcontract, sure. But I don't think you should have, gone off the route of Cammy, Kleenex, and
I could
be
fried, but I think their roster is pretty much set in stone. I think they're just going to bring on Hixie because him and Scrap had
I heard Hixie too.
Success in the Challengers thing, and they're just going to bring in two fresh new blood.
I will tell you, Chris, that I know from people that around the league that represent players, for example, that are looking around at teams. Toronto's still shopping around to see what's out there.
All right. Well, either way, I'm glad Scrap gets to play. I can't wait for that guy to be in league because the amount of shit talk that guy's going to bring. Plus, he was actually different this year, like actually undeniable in his role. Mm-hmm. Great flex player, and I guess that's why they might have got rid of Cammy there, is because he's a actual flex player, and they decided to go with keeping Insight. I don't really mind them keeping Insight. I know the Cammy definitely has a higher ceiling in terms of like his impact on the game, but Insight is still pretty serviceable, and on top of that, he's very, 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 very good at search in comparison to some of his other teammates.
And where do you see? And that leaves, potential. You could pick them up. I mean, if Cammy and Bance again booted from Toronto, those are two really good players. That might shake things up somewhere else because I don't know where they're thinking about going.
Specifically in terms of the Cammy thing, I think Cammy's in a very similar position to Attach, and I know they weren't the same caliber player in the last game, but I think in terms of like value, I think a lot of people see the potential that Attach brings and then a lot of the potential that Cammy brings. So I could see him being offered by the same teams. I could see him being offered by, potentially LAG, maybe NYSL, Boston. Potentially,
I can see Boston.
Yeah, I could see a lot of those teams throwing some bids at him. There was rumors that last offseason that OpTic potentially wanted him. I don't know if that's even known, but
that is 100% a fact that OpTic wanted him. I know for a fact.
Like, this guy is a high caliber player. He was actually wanted last year. I don't know how much his stock has gone down this last year based on his individual performances. But
you don't get rid of a player like that.
Wait, you want what's crazy? Well, the thing is, did his contract
No, he's restricted.
They re-signed everybody in the offseason last year.
Either way, they're taking a gamble and they're going for a roster that might want to play together a little bit more, and they're definitely gonna make their money's worth out of that guy.
I think here's the calculus.
That's really good.
So first off, we act like Cammy played bad. Like, he basically had a 1 overall this year.
He turned it around in the later half of the season. He started being a lot better.
I had dropped some 0.95. It's just not how it went down. But I think for Toronto, in the same way for Minnesota, they had a similar problem this year. It's you can be the best S&D disciplined team in the world, but if you're winning 35% of your game ones and you just struggle to win hard points and clutch up, that is making it very difficult for you to beat top teams. And they came up short so many times against OpTic and FaZe this season. And I think this year, what they're trying to do in the offseason is get a little bit quicker, get a little bit younger blood in, try to have that dynamicism in hard point. And teach some of these younger guys sort of what they want out of their S&D system, and see if that can get them back to their winning ways that they had the season prior.
Well, listen, I think that's enough about Toronto because I want to talk about London. I just feel like they've been so quiet. I haven't heard anything from the London camp. I've heard a lot from a lot of different camps, but London is so quiet to me. Have you guys heard anything about that camp?
Yeah.
I'm sure you have.
Benjamin Bence maybe going.
Oh, yeah. Benjamin Bence. Oh, yeah.
Trey and Bence, it's an obvious one.
Yeah.
I think that'd be good too.
That would be a good team.
I think Bence is nasty, bro.
He's nasty.
He's always been disrespected.
Bence does the little things. He goes under the radar because he does all the little things,
The problem with Bance going there is they're going to get back on main stage, and as soon as the lights hit, Bance is the only one shooting back. I think that's been the problem with the London camp. I don't know if they need to just run drills with lights on at wherever they're playing or what, but London has just been dominant online and got the LAN and disappeared. And so
no offense to their
going
boys.
there, I don't think fixes that.
No offense to I think you keep Afro, you probably keep Trey, and then at that point, you just don't keep the others, unfortunately. I think if you're going to bring in new people, you look for Bance and Cammy, you look for Bance for sure, and you go out of your way to look for another challenger player. There's players like Beans, for example, very good player in the European scene, and there's other challenger players that have made pretty significant impacts in their season last year. But also, hell, man, I know Paul's restricted, but maybe London get another shot at trying to get Paul officially on their team, and they learn from their ways and they get him back.
I really like that idea, Chris, because I
could see that.
I agree with you, Pat.
There we go, Paul.
I agree with you, Pat. My concern, we know that Ben's a big game player. We know that Ben's got a play style that's conducive to LAN. He likes to play off corners. He's got a really good understanding of the pacing on the map in a given situation. So, he'll have some up and downs because one-on-one gun skill maybe isn't as good as someone say is a BZ, but he's got that veteran mentality to be able to contribute and be impactful on LAN. But some of the other players have wilted in big situations this year. I really like the potential idea of Paul X. My whole thesis with London, and I talked about it in some of the videos I put out, is want to see this team become a mixed NA-EU team. I think the full EU thing is just going to be really difficult because if
Dedge idea.
Yeah, I think you got to get a mix in and start to build a culture of winning here. So I like that thought process, Chris.
Yeah, then we got some other teams, the Los Angeles Gorillas. You want to keep going?
Over OpTic?
No, we'll go over OpTic. I'm down.
I thought you were just going east to west.
No.
Toronto, London. I thought you were just going down the map.
I'm just looking at the standings and talking about teams we haven't talked about yet. But we'll get to OpTic. We can talk about OpTic next. LAG, probably Slasher, right? Probably their go-to guy. Probably the guy that they're probably going to be building around, which I don't think is a bad thing. I think Slasher's a good player. I think Slasher just needs the right people around him with the right mindset. That's the make or break it for Austin. If Austin's with players who just aren't thinking about the game the way he's thinking about the game, it's not gonna work.
I mean,
Like,
I
you
think
have
that's
to
a
have
lot
trust.
for
You
a
have
lot
to
of veterans.
Yeah, you have to have trust in Austin. Like, you have to trust him. You know, even me and him, we butted heads back in the day. But I mean, as you know, as years went on, I mean, I always got a respect for him. You know, I feel like for him, he wants to be that guy to lead. You know, and you got to make sure that if you're gonna build players around, if you're gonna build a team around Austin, you got to make sure you're bringing on players who respect him.
I think LAG dumping the coaching staff helps Austin a ton.
I was actually going to mention that, Pat, because for me, I think I was speaking of me and Pat actually played with Austin. I think Austin thrives in an environment where he has someone to bounce ideas off of.
When he's
like the sole proprietor in these, like, the way that like the game is played and he has to take on that responsibility himself, I don't think that's a good idea for him. I think he thrives in a scenario where he has other people that can bounce ideas off him, but also tell him when he's wrong sometimes. I think he might not get that in a player, but I think that they could definitely use somebody on the coaching staff that has played before, or actually get somebody that knows what the hell they're talking about. Because for example, Ricky and Bevels, great players, great coaches at points in time in their career. I know Bevels was really good at Surge. Ricky had some stints, but I don't know. Bevels and Ricky have always been pretty quiet in terms of like the way they like to do things.
No, they've been pretty.
They're quiet.
They're
people.
a quiet team. Yeah, they
Rick
are quiet.
Sorry, I wasn't saying Ed of that. I was saying what you said before.
Oh wait, Rick was good, and then Bevels was godlike at Surge.
So are they moving? Are they moving? They're moving Rick to head coach, right?
Yeah, no,
Rick
they're moving
is
Rick to a managing position.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So that leaves a coach's spot open. You know, Mr. Chris, that might be all you. You know?
Hey man, you never know.
You never know.
I would say this about Austin though. From talking to people around that camp, I think he's improved his attitude a lot last season. Austin flew under the radar and had quietly a very good season last year. I know LAG had like one high and mostly a lot of lows, so that probably didn't get
all lows, one high.
Sure. So I think he definitely isn't the same person he was a couple of years ago. So I that's why I agree. Like, if you surround him with a player like an ASIM that's really always going to be vocal and is going to be really professional about, like, we talked about this, I think, on a couple of shows, like, the best type of teams, right, get on every day, and even if they don't agree on everything, like, they are very good about figuring out in a given situation what they want to do and then committing that strategy and then doing it the next time it happens. And Austin loves those types of players. So if they can create that atmosphere, look, this year, like, the slang was mega inconsistent. Outside of that 1 week, like, S&D was really up and down.
Yeah.
I mean, Austin just needs players that are, like, not, I mean, I hate to say it, but, like, aren't going to lose their confidence when he gets upset.
Yeah.
Like, he's an old school player who's, like, a multiple time fucking world champion who, if you make the same mistake multiple times, is going to let you know. And I mean, you guys talked about it on the last show.
You're asking for the 1%, bro. You're asking for the 1%.
Hold on. He also needs to be better in knowing the way he can talk to certain people. But, like, I do know with Austin, and honestly with most players like this, it's not really ever personal. It's just like
it's never personal.
It's a very high stress environment. Everybody's trying to win and make their money and be the best. And when you feel like someone's making incorrect plays or isn't listening, you're going to get upset.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's legit,
which
never
is tough
personal,
because it does feel personal at times. I mean,
but it's legit, it never personal. And you can't take it personally if you're on a team.
Okay, I'm not going to say never. There's definitely been some instances where, like, it gets personal and, like, it needs to be about the problem that's going on.
We saw that 2 days ago.
Yeah, so I mean,
me and Austin got personal.
I don't know. That's the thing.
No more.
That's the thing with Austin. Is he's just one of those leaders who, like, if you can look past the way he's going to get sometimes, like, you'll probably find success.
He also like would thrive in an environment where, like, people and just the whole team, right, is just pushing, like, each other to act, like, challenging each other to get better. None of this, like, complacency shit. Like, he needs that type of person around him, in my opinion.
I think he's hitting up Crim right now, bro.
No way.
That's who he wants to play with, bro.
No.
What's also important?
That's my prediction, bro.
What's also important, I think, is just, like, that team cohesiveness, like, outside the game. Like, I know we always talk about it, but, like, if you can have an argument in game and blow up and then go out to dinner after and laugh, like, it's important to separate, like, the in-game and out-of-game. So it's like, if you're getting along out of game and you're still hanging out, it's one thing to have this big team argument. Everybody goes back to their apartments and doesn't talk. if you have a bad day of scrims and you guys go all out to eat and you're laughing, easier said than done. It's just super fucking important for everybody to know it's not personal. Like, okay, this guy just told me I was making a shit play. Now we're eating chips. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Go cry in my room, dude.
Exactly. Whereas, if you go back to your room after a day like that and you're just sitting there thinking about the day.
Hold on. I'm sorry. I gotta ask, bro. Who's doing that, Tony?
I'm sorry.
Who is doing that? Who is going back to their room and getting all sad that someone said that they made a shit play?
I'm just saying.
You gotta drop names.
There was times.
All I'm saying is it's important that you separate the in game and the out of game.
I have something to say. I have something to say about that, Pat. Though I've had problems in the past on teams with a respecting. I've had problems where you could just clearly tell your teammates don't respect you. You can't, even when you try to talk, it seems like they don't want to listen. You know, they take you as a joke. You know,
I mean, that's one thing.
Who took you as a joke?
We literally
I don't need to name names because it's bro. You know, when you team with people, it gets bloody. You know, it's like there's no bad blood there. Like
Are we acting really like we didn't just do a 2.5-hour show about a team that had this problem?
I'm just saying sometimes, bro. Like it's just the way people talk to people, bro. Like sometimes there's just certain ways you shouldn't talk to somebody. You know, it can bother somebody, especially if that person speaks up about it. You know,
Porter calling Neptune the worst SMG in the league. Like I don't think that's something that. You know, like Neptune should go and get sad about. Like, be better.
I don't know. I think that.
See, Pat, I disagree. I disagree.
That's a little far.
Because you're pushing a narrative.
You're being paid hundreds of grand to play the game.
Doesn't matter.
If you're the worst in the league, your teammates should call you out on that. You should be better.
Nah, it doesn't matter. No, hell no.
Those words.
You costed money.
No. You can be like, yo, you are not playing anywhere near the level we know you can play.
Bro,
that's one thing. But to say, you're the fucking worst in the league right now.
I'm
go
sorry,
in my room and cry.
Tony, bro, this is literally a game specific thing. Like, let's use the Porter Neptune example. He didn't say nothing about him personally. He didn't come at him in any way. He just said, yo, we're on this team together, and right now you're the worst sub in the league. You just
listen.
I
get
it.
I mean, but I also think you do to some sense need to know who you're talking to. I don't know Neptune personally, but it's like if
you also need to know if you're the worst in the league.
I mean, yeah, but listen, if Crim were to say that to you, it's nowhere near
I'm not the worst in the league.
Listen, all I'm saying is if Crim were to say that to someone like you, it would not mentally you would not go down that rabbit hole of
No, I would get on the next day, outperform him every map, and then rub it in his face.
Just put it this way, Pat.
I'm saying
right, that's my point. That's my point. Like,
Pat, just put it this way, Pat. Right?
That is a good point.
There's a lot of times where people would yell at me. I wouldn't even give a fuck. I liked it.
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
I love that about you, Tom.
And vice versa. Yeah, but there was also
teamed.
Yeah, Pat. But there was also times where people call me soft. You know, they call me the other way around. They're like, "Oh, you're being soft, this and that." And it's like,
listen, Tom.
There's boundaries.
You came back the next day, dropped 50 every map, and you're like, "Who's soft?"
I mean, at least one thing I will say is if I ever had that problem, at least I had teammates that communicated with me. You know, like it's even worse if shit's happening behind your back.
I think the thing is,
in my scenario, we always talked.
But yeah, wouldn't you rather Porter come to you?
Talked it out, yeah.
Wouldn't you rather Porter come to you and say you're the worst in the league than go to Hydra and if
he's coming to
Clay
me privately
at dinner and be like, yo,
of course,
Neptune is the goddamn worst in the league at a team dinner where you're not there?
No, of course. I would much rather have it privately than publicly.
And also, when we talk about respect, earning, bro, I can promise you this because I know Porter and I know that mentality. If Neptune was to hear that and then come back the next day and full fucking just wanting to fucking fry and giving it his all and fried, I guarantee you Porter would have had more respect for Neptune than anybody else on that roster. I guarantee that.
Of course.
I guarantee that.
If you are a good leader, It's about recognizing what are the ways to motivate people. It's not a one-fits-all approach. If you think that way, that's just not how the world works.
And also,
I would add nowadays. So let's make sure we add.
That's how it's always been.
No. Let's add nowadays.
It's also not entirely on the players,
but it's all good.
Let's be very specific.
That's a nostalgia effect, but it's all good.
No, because the players that you're talking about that were like that back then sucked, and they stayed in the. They stayed sucking.
I'll bet with that one for sure. But listen, Tony, go ahead. You could have the floor.
It was just different back then. Like everybody, all of our come-ups back then when we all came up, like it was all the NJ Halo and the local lands and the screaming, and it's just like everybody is not coming up like that these days. Like it's just a very different environment. So I do agree to Ben's point. Like to some sense, you got to know who you're dealing with.
Yeah. Crowder used to rip me to fucking shreds. That guy. Ben heard it.
Oh yeah, I was in some of those calls.
Yeah, no, he used to rip me to shreds, and I never took it personally with him. Never.
Great leader.
You know,
but also to Chris's point, he also knew when to not do it in front of your team and sit you down and have it one-on-one or go.
He did it the right way. Crowder did it the right way.
Because this is why Chris is a good coach.
That's another thing.
Have a different approach with people, but go ahead, Chris.
It's like people are going to be receptive to different things, but not only are they going to be receptive to different things, they're going to be receptive to that certain way that you speak to them based on who's around. You think people want to be in front of the entire team and just be embarrassed, like when you say shit like that to them? No. Like,
I'll keep it a buck. I would rather have Crim as a teammate than Neptune.
That's not the conversation we're having.
But it's an example. Like if you're talking about who I want on my team when like I know that it is the most important match in the world, I would way rather have somebody with the mentality of Crim than the mentality of Neptune.
This is also not entirely on players, like you said. This is also part of like the coaching staffing role. And
I think
more involved.
I think managing the player relationships might be the most important part for like a Call of Duty.
I mean,
coach.
bro, listen. We're going in circles now. We've talked about team culture before. I mean, I was screaming about culture last year. And remember in Cold War, Ben, I was always screaming about having a good team culture because that was always important to me. Just having a good team environment, having a good culture. You know, but and that doesn't mean being nice all the fucking time. It's not at all what it means. But I'm sure if you guys want to know the opposite of what to do, New York, the New York Subliners.
yeah.
That's do the opposite of that is exactly what I mean. You know. But let's move on to OpTic. You guys want to talk a little bit about OpTic? Let's talk a little bit about OpTic. I thought they were just gonna stay together. I didn't think they were gonna change.
Well, they're clearly, I think, not going to make a change. I think the
no
question
way,
of OpTic.
dude.
The question
Heck said they're not changing on a podcast.
Oh, he said that? I didn't even know that.
The question for OpTic is, they released General, they released Proloot. I think the Ender situation, obviously, we hope he's fully healthy and this injury doesn't reoccur. But, if you're part of the front office staff of OpTic, I think you do have a responsibility to probably find a sub that needs to come in the pinch. And so very curious to see what they do on that front and who to go down with and who they get because, you don't want a repeat of this season.
Yeah. Karma was looking to be a sub, fairly seriously. You think Karma's gonna be a sub for their team?
He should. Karma would be nasty as a sub.
But that requires
Karma literally won't play the game.
But bro, he comes in with fresh hands. Forget about it. He might be nasty.
I don't know, man. Maybe he actually will, but
I think he'd be good.
I don't know if he actually would.
Listen, bro, they need to pick up Cammy and say goodbye, Ender.
Wait, Chris, what podcast did you hear Hector say this? I think I might have watched it, but I don't remember.
I didn't watch it. I remember Chat posting. He said on our podcast they're staying together, so I'm just gonna take Chat's word for it.
I've seen that in my
because those guys know more about OpTic than OpTic know about themselves, dude. The green wall Twitch chat is nutty. They know everything.
Mm-hmm. Ben, let me talk to you. Ben, you okay? Ben, you all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
You're good. You got anything you want to add? You got anything you want to add here?
On the OpTic front, I think I said my piece. I don't think. Look, I think it's respectable if they want to run him back. Like I get where you're coming from, Pat, bringing in Cammy. Obviously, that was
that'd be a gross team.
But I don't think they're willing to upset the apple cart in that way this season. It doesn't seem like that's where they're going down. But I do think that I like Ender as a player. He has a lot of intangibles from a leadership standpoint. As a Slayer, though, that's still a question mark in my mind. And I think OpTic need to be smart about it. You want to support your guys and the roster they want to keep together, but they need to be in a position where if, it's still a little bit not what they want in the beginning of next season, they need to make sure they have the ability to rotate a position they need to and stay competitive.
I get it. They did have success. They did look good online. They won one of their majors, and they ended up finishing the year out with a good placement. But like their injury, just like it's their injury with Illy, just provides such a question mark for me. Like I wonder what would have happened with their team if they continued their upward trajectory when Illy was healthy. You obviously can't like project that. You can't say, oh, they would have been the best team or anything like that. But I think it's such a hard thing to just. What am I trying to say here? I'm basically saying that like I don't think they give up on this roster. I think they give it another year, and as long as Illy is healthy and can play, because I don't think they realize their full potential. I said this about a lot of teams in Vanguard, right? Some of these teams are just going to chalk up the year and be like, well, it was Vanguard, or even OpTic is going to be like, well, this guy was injured. Like we couldn't realize our full potential. I think they're going to give it another shot for another year at the least. And see where they go. Like
they need to get out. I will keep saying this on this show. This is one of the things, again, Greenwald fans, I think you are 100% right about this. This team needs to figure out whatever is going on in their camp, where they start off good at the beginning of the season, they take their foot off the gas pedal at some point, and then they struggle at the end to catch up to teams. They get stuck in that valley. Teams progress along with the meta, and then they're a little bit behind. The pacing falls off, etc.
Here's the thing,
now
though,
for a number of years in a row.
They literally had a good finishing at champs, and they obviously had that dead where Illy wasn't playing, and when Illy came back, they looked basically the same as they did with Prolu, but they, I guess, progressively got better. If you look at their placement at champs, maybe it's not what you wanted to see. Obviously, you want to see these guys win, but I don't know. I think with Vanguard, and then on top of that, just the fact that Illy was out of the roster for so long, it just creates a giant question mark. Like for me,
Chris, I don't think, if you ask the OpTic guys if they were happy with how they placed their champs, I don't think they're saying yes.
Well, I mean, no one's going to say that.
That's my point, though. But like, if you watched him play, like if you sat there, I'll say this: if you asked any pro in the league, and you put 3 mini maps in front of them, Thieves, OpTic, and FaZe respawn at champs, I think they're probably ranking OpTic at third. I don't think I'm wrong that they need to do a better job. Bro, out of game shit's going to happen. It is what it is. The inner thing is super unfortunate. But for a number of years in a row, the folks that have played out of that facility have struggled to be the best or second best team in regards to the meta at the end of the season. And that's what they need to figure out, because they do it, they will be very competitive and have a extremely good shot based on the talent they have on that team. After they won an event last year, to go ahead and win COD champs.
Mm-hmm. Well, listen,
that is the last hurdle for them.
I do want to say one thing, Pat, about the memes you're putting on. I think if you're Michael Jordan, you have every right to say what he's saying. I think you have to be. I think Michael Jordan is one of the only guys who could talk the way he talks.
So who's Jordan? Who's Jordan?
Let's be honest though. Crim compared to Neptune,
whoever's the hard carry.
He's Jordan. He's Messi. He's Ronaldo. He's Michael Phelps. He literally all of them in one. So I don't understand. The comparison is still the same.
Well, listen. Let's bring in Mr. Well, I'm echoing from Tony's mic. Did he get up? He just got up, didn't he? Oh, he just muted out.
There you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got a special guest in the building.
I'm in their bank
Porter,
account.
are you fucking cooking me?
Oh shit! What's up, Ratatouille?
Oh shit!
Wait, why are you guys mad quiet?
Yo, what's up? Nothing. We just dragged you in. I said what's good. What's up, bro? How you
How's
doing?
it going, man?
Are you retiring? Everybody's coming in here saying you're retiring, Porter.
Hey!
Jesus, get your dogs, brother. Damn.
What you mean, get my dogs?
Get your dogs. You know what I mean.
It should be the opposite. Dogs, get them, kill.
Yeah, chill out, bro. Knowing your dogs probably do that shit. You never know.
Are you the next driver on either McLaren or Alpine? Like, what's going on here? Are you switching?
Yeah, Porter, you're getting
I'd suck a cock to do that.
Are you getting the 765 Spider?
Bitch, I'm unemployed.
Oh shit.
Sorry, you sell your Porsche. You get a lot back for the Porsche.
If I gotta do content now, bro.
But you got it in Miami blue, Porter. That's worth a lot, the Miami blue.
So are you retiring?
No, I said I'm fine with either.
What does that mean?
You're fine with playing or retiring?
I mean, well, yeah.
Porter, listen, bro. It's the flank, man. Like, just give it to us straight. We don't need to play
No, every time I go on the fucking flank, I get off.
Blow up. You blow up.
I get off, right? Tommy's sitting there checking his fucking Twitch analytics. Oh, I made a killing. I made a fucking killing. Thanks, Crim. I'm sitting there making a fucking ass out of myself, right?
Bro,
But
that's
Porter,
not true.
Porter,
Dude.
I told you, bro.
And
If you want to
wait, hold on.
I might be a little
you
true.
got beef with me.
Hey,
Okay,
Ben,
let's
fuck
that
you,
too.
man.
What
Ben
I do
is
now?
somehow, dude, he's found a way to disguise bait questions very, very
Nah,
well.
he did a good
Yeah,
job
he
last
did,
show.
he
He did a
did.
good
Bro,
job baiting. He
Bro,
did do a
every
good
single
job.
question Ben asked, right? It
Nah,
made
he did.
like watching it
It
back.
asked a
I'm sitting there like,
conversation,
why
that's
the
the point.
fuck? I was like, how did I answer that? Why did I answer that? Like that's a lose-lose that Ben's asking, and he's doing it every time.
Wait,
Yeah,
Po-
that's how the game works,
Wait,
bro. I'm
wait,
trying to
Porter.
make it interesting for audience.
I wanted to ask you, Porter, what's that tweet all about? We were looking at it in the beginning of the show, but what the fuck did you mean by that?
So
You sounded
I
like you
saw-
were onto something.
I saw the numbers, and I don't know if it applies or not.
33
What do you mean,
free
bro? What do you
agents.
mean, bro?
Okay, so here's the thing.
Okay.
Mhm.
God, dude, no, man. Oh,
No.
dude,
Bro, let it
exactly.
Here's the thing.
Okay,
Okay, think about it.
well, the
You're
thing
live
is-
this
okay.
time, so
Okay,
you
yeah,
get the
that's
revenue
true.
this time too.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, you
All
are
right.
live. You can upload that.
All right.
This is
well,
profit sharing.
Okay. So the numbers weren't as bad as I thought, but some of the like locked in teams, right, and players are not happy. Okay, and
Why?
neither is the what's the financial guy in a esports or just a company?
The
Financial
CFO,
advisor Ben.
Chief
Financial advisor Ben,
Officer.
bro.
The CFO and the CFOs of all fucking orgs, not even just in the CDL. Right now, they're all not happy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we at least know this. We're in the know enough to know this, right, guys?
Right.
Everyone?
Right. Yes.
Take
Yep.
my glasses
Word,
off.
word, word.
So
Take my glasses
explain to me, right? How would you get that done? Okay, we got to make cuts. All right, we got to drop salaries. How would you get that done?
I would not re-sign the second year on a previous inflated contract and offer said player a lower amount of salary.
So was that what Pat was talking about
No.
before?
I was answering your question.
So Pat gets it, guys. That's exactly what the fuck I was thinking.
I will say,
That's
Porter,
exactly
there's
what
another-
the fuck I was
There's another
thinking.
side of the story, which is there are players, and you probably know some of the players I'm talking about, who either through trades or transactions over the last couple of years, knowingly signed a contract where the second year was basically a poison pill number, and they knew that contract was not going to get renewed for a team.
Wait, hold on. Back it the fuck up. Did you say poison colt?
Poison
pill.
pill.
Yeah,
Poison
he
pill.
has like little terms and
No,
shit
I
that
like
he
that.
uses.
Ben, that was
That's
nice. I like
no,
that.
he's
Thank
good.
you.
Ben's
That's
good
not.
with
That's
that.
not. Hold on. That's not Ben's term. Let's not like act
No,
like
no,
Ben.
it's not his
No,
term.
that's not-
It was
it's good
good
usage.
term.
He does
It
a
was
good. He does a good job
Okay,
using
okay,
all the
okay.
Stay
terms.
the
I'll just
fuck
make
on
sure.
topic. God damn it.
Go
Hey,
ahead.
Krim, you're a guest on the show, bro. Come on, chill.
But dude,
Oh,
no,
get
I might secretly run this fucking whole Tommy,
Secretly.
I might secretly run the flank.
You might
Secretly.
see Porter in
Wait,
one of these
wait,
squares
I'm not-
one day.
I'm not-
Didn't Twitter
I'm
didn't
the
Twitter use
guest,
a poison
Tommy.
pill against Elon Musk or try to?
What?
That's off
I
topic.
mean, he had
Listen,
a
that's
cla- he had a clause
wait,
in
wait,
there.
hold on, hold on,
Educated
wait,
conversation,
wait,
shut up. But listen, right? So what Pat's saying, for all you dumb fucks, right? Let's break it down here. What that means is now there's not that much leverage. Player
no
A
leverage.
Player A can't say, "Hey, I'm better than player B," right? So I get his salary plus 30%. You can't do that anymore because player B doesn't have a fucking salary to begin with now. Right?
Not only
I don't
that,
get what you're
Krim.
saying, man.
Not only that, Krim.
No, I'm
can
saying-
we talk
I
about
see
the
where- I see
game?
where Porter's going with this.
Can we talk about the game
I'm a
launch
little
extension,
confused. I'm a little
which
confused.
fucks players even more?
Wait, Pat, hold on. We got to slow it down for some,
Yeah, I'm a little bit of a
we
moron.
got to slow it down here, Pat.
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
yeah. Slow it down.
Let's slow it down. Let's slow it down.
So what I'm saying is, right?
Mm-hmm.
When have we ever seen this many free agents? Okay, we know that the orgs are hurting across the board, even in fucking League of Legends.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everybody's hurting. Okay.
Australia org just shut down today.
Yeah, that's because China's fucking collapsing. Okay, that's the
not
real
right.
source. It actually is. Tommy,
They
get
brought
educated.
fucking bugs over here. Did you see the bugs they brought over here? The jumper bugs.
Listen, man, that has
Krim, you've
nothing
been
to do
on
with
like
the
a-
fucking
Came from
Chinese
China. They came from
economy
fucking China. They're all over the
falling
place.
apart before our eyes.
Have you
and
been on like a
shit's-
YouTube like recommended black hole?
I mean, bro, listen. You know what I'm talking about, right, Pat?
The
Have you
fuck
seen
are
those
we talking
videos?
about?
Listen.
Have you seen those videos?
What the fuck are we talking
Where
about?
is this going?
No,
Can
no,
you
no,
just
no, no,
keep
no.
Can I speed
going?
this up for a second? Because I see reporters going with this, bro.
Because I'm just saying that is why the fuck everything's down.
All right,
Right.
can I speed this up, Porter?
Worldwide.
Because I think you're trying to equate this to current.
No, I'm
financial
not. Yeah, wait, no, Ben, you shut up, okay? I'm not on my. I'm
conditions.
not
Well,
on
people like
fucking.
when the
Sorry,
show's
that
host,
was
but go ahead.
disrespectful. That was disrespectful.
Alright, he
But I'm not on
apologized.
C6 phone.
Oh, you're good.
I can actually talk over people now. Okay.
Go ahead.
So that's a source. It doesn't matter. Whatever. Right. But now there's no leverage between the players. Okay. There's no like, dude. I'm gonna be honest. We are getting overpaid big time. We were.
We still are. All these players are still. Every year they talk about
a guy
salaries
getting a
are going.
$1.5 million contract.
Every single year, I swear to God, for the past 3 years, everybody says, "Oh, salaries are going to go down. Reality is going to hit."
I
And then
was
the next
definitely
year
getting
comes,
underpaid.
and then they inflate. Okay, when you say underpaid, I want you to say your salary out loud, and we'll see if you're underpaid or not.
All right.
Because I'm pretty sure I know what you were making.
Tactical Rab, get ready. Right.
Oh no.
and-
Here we go.
Oh.
Yes.
No.
Last year, 380.
That's not underpaid, my brother.
Bro, there's
Really?
players. Thank you, Pat. God damn, bro.
That is not underpaid,
Bro,
my brother.
there's players that were getting 400, right? I ran
Yeah,
the
there
numbers.
was.
I ran
Yeah,
the
but you
numbers.
also had Clay next to you, so I mean, Clay takes
Bro,
up a big portion
I
of
had
that.
56 times more followers, 38 times more championships, right? Than some of these guys are getting paid that much.
10 years more
Or did,
experience.
And they were getting paid more than me.
Did New
Yeah,
York
but it also
have to-
depends on scenario and organization. I mean,
Also, hold on. Also, we need to, because I know who you're talking about. We gotta add this caveat in because I think it's a justifiable thing. You got to live in Dallas, Texas, and I'm obviously a big fan of Dallas, Texas, great city. And the player that you're referencing that got 400 did not get
true,
to live in Dallas, Texas, and where they had to live. You know, I mean, there's a little bit of money. I think the
fair.
$20K difference, like from where you got to live versus where they got to live, was a.
Was the entity paying you guys Texas
Hey,
entity though? Or you started
wait.
paying
To
you
be
some
fair,
taxes?
hold on. Before I got dropped from OpTic, I was literally expected to make almost double that.
I'm back, dude.
On
What the
first,
fuck did I hear?
on first year of MW, right? That was what
Oh,
I
shit.
was. That was what fucking I was valued at.
380?
But
Wait,
listen,
you talking about 2019?
Can we? We're
You motherfuckers don't even. Well,
okay, let me just say, you were a
we're
top
missing a
five.
whole perspective.
You
here
were
that I
a top
think is
5
coloring
player.
this discussion.
You were paid top 5 in the league this past
Bitch,
year.
what? I was getting cyberbullied. Oh, last
They're
year,
top
yeah.
stepping.
No, that's facts. That's facts. I agree with that. That's probably true, right? But put it this way, right? Okay, I can't ask you like your salaries in, but imagine getting
not?
paid 60% of what you think you're worth, what your fucking agency's telling you're worth, right?
I mean,
Because-
I wouldn't say I was underpaid this past year. If we're going off the market value, which is severely inflated, technically.
I'm just saying whatever you think you're worth, right? Imagine getting paid 60% of that number.
I mean, it's just situational. Like I said, it's org based. You had Clay on the team, who obviously takes up a good amount of salary as well. Like you guys decided to team together. If
There's
you
no
were just in
salary
that
cap.
team, besides, I'm pretty sure this past year there was. No, am I wrong? I could be wrong.
Ben,
But
can
it-
you confirm?
it
I'm pretty
doesn't
sure there was
matter
no
now.
salary cap this year.
I don't believe this
I don't
last
know.
season had a salary cap. Hey guys, there's a whole
maybe not.
perspective we're missing in this conversation. I'd like to get out here because I think it's
That's
going to
because
help.
the
Wait,
fucking.
I kind of like what we're on. Clem.
think
Yeah,
so.
but y'all,
I don't
coming
think
from
so.
a player side, and there's another piece to us though I think we need to discuss.
I
Here's
think
the-
you should continue to let Clem go though.
Here's
All right,
the
well, I guess
crazy
I won't
thing,
talk
right?
then. That's
Here's a
fine.
fucking
Ben,
crazy
you'll get
thing.
your chance to talk, Ben. You'll get your chance
I
to talk.
actually
Hold on.
accomplished something that I don't think any player's ever done. Okay. I borderline secured like events next year doing my stupid fucking walkout.
What?
Wait.
I mean,
say?
yeah, that might be 50% of it. Yeah, it might be less. It's probably 25%.
You're saying the only reason there'll be events
Right.
next year is because of your goofy ass.
It's the
No, no.
WWE.
Yeah, but now, no, Haggy, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, bro, that New York event was fucking insane. They
No,
probably
that walkout was incredible.
That was a good walkout,
That
bro.
walkout was
and I'm not
actually
saying
10
that
out
it
of
was
10
just my
incredible.
walkout.
That was $1 million walkout,
It was
Porter.
probably a lot more than that, right?
I know they're
But
not doing
New
that
York
for
will
Hydra.
probably have an event for COD for the next 3 years because of that one event.
That's not entirely how that works. To be
All right,
fair,
let Ben have the floor now.
Why?
because I know how it works. That's not how it
Ben's
works.
gonna change the subject.
No, let Ben go.
no,
Let
I'm
Ben.
not gonna
wait,
at all.
Ben,
Let Ben go. Let Ben go, though.
Wait,
Oh, I'm not gonna.
If
You're
New
asking me
York,
to talk about something I'm definitely not
if
gonna
New
talk
York
about.
wants to have an event in New York, right? They want to have it. Are they going to be allowed? Yes or no for 3
They
years?
have the possibility to get one.
Yeah, I mean, each team's allowed to.
I think that
I'm not
shit's
gonna
a
dive any
borderline
further.
guarantee
this is
now.
getting into shit that's gonna get me in trouble. My previous employer.
Same. But now I can't get fucking fined.
But without you on the team, Porter, I don't know.
If you want to, go ahead.
I don't know if it's
Wait,
as big of a guarantee, Porter.
You want to
without
know you want to know what's actually crazy? I can actually talk about this now. Where's T-Jat? Someone get him in here, bro.
Oh no.
Bro,
Just poked him.
bro, listen to this
Welcome.
shit, right? No, I can't, dude. I can't. Bro.
No, you can. That's what.
No,
this is
no,
for.
I actually can't. I actually
You have
can't.
1,500
No,
live
Oh, it's in the
viewers.
past. It's in the past. Put it in the
Actually can't.
past. It's in the past, bro.
You cannot get fined.
No.
Yeah,
It's-
type it.
Yeah, type it.
All right.
Cool. We need to talk about to the Porter salary thing. Like, okay, I get it, right? Economic conditions are not amazing right now, right? Like for people that are highly reliant on.
Hold on.
Let him speak. Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, I'll say like people and organizations that are highly reliant on venture capital, and a lot of this capital it was cheap with interest rates. It's not the same condition. That's fair. Okay, economics. But we also have to talk about this perspective. These teams, year one of the league, were
Porter, you haven't
told
typed it
by
yet.
people in the scene
I'm typing.
to sign certain people and build certain teams and pay those people a lot of money, and they did not get a return for that. And put the economic conditions aside, of course, there's going to be some depression in salaries because teams feel like they were swindled a little bit and they want to take over control of the market so they can properly build the teams they want. That's the perspective that we need to consider here. It's not always going to be a player-friendly thing. It's a business, man.
Okay.
Ben, that makes no sense though, Ben, because I agree with what you're saying, but why would that happen in year 4? Because
it takes some time, Pat. Doesn't happen overnight, brother.
But Ben, we knew that's what happened year 1, so salaries went up year 2. We knew that happened year 2, so salaries went up year 3. We knew it happened year. Why would it go down now?
No, salaries just keep going up, man.
It's not always how that works, Pat.
But listen, every single year it happens. Everyone says, "Oh, salaries are going to go down," and then one player sets the market because he's wanted by 4 fucking teams, and then he sets the market. Then everybody builds a deck and compares their followers, and all their agents type up, "This player brings this, this, and this. This is the brand reach he has. This is this. This is what he deserves." And as soon as one org, quote unquote, overpays, the market is set right there. So every year, it's always going to fucking happen. A player that's a free agent is going to run the market up, and it's going to be the same cycle over and over and over.
Yo, how the fuck do I mute these dings, bro? Y'all be fucking typing in the chat. They
it's
fucking
not
cooking each other.
But-
Look, ding, 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 ding. Go ahead, Pat.
What was I gonna say? Oh, Tony, but to your point, like that's my problem with the CDL though. I don't care about the salaries going up. The problem that I have with the CDL is, let's say 4 or 5 teams bought in, not able to afford or sustain this model, whereas 4 or 5 other teams can afford and sustain this model. And so that's why we get the CDL so top heavy, where all the talent just is flooded at the top. All the best players play with each other at the top. All the best teams are at the top with the most amount of money, and then you have everybody else. But that's the problem with the CDL.
I don't think it's
orgs that have been consistently at the top.
But I also don't think it's like I think every single organization in the CDL has the capital to pay similar to one another. It's just like
having the capital
decision
versus
but wanting
deciding to pay. Yeah, that's a big difference.
I mean, exactly. And obviously, there's different factors that go into that. But like certain teams just don't see certain value in paying those numbers because whatever model they go with.
Wait. Hold on. From a financial standpoint, I think Seattle Surge winning a major was the worst thing that could happen to all the players league-wide for the whole year.
You want to add to that?
Because you think they would have made changes, Crim?
No, because they were a low-paid team.
I mean, but to be fair, they had 2 rookies, so like obviously if you have 2 rookies, but I mean that's just the way these things work. It's not like a super clear cut. That's like an anomalous situation where 2 rookies come in and they play out of their minds.
Yeah.
Mac was a known variable. Lamar got paid well.
But outside of Seattle, because they paid a lot year one, my point is here, Paris, London, and Florida, to me, they will never pay a high salary. There's 3 orgs straight up that will never pay a high salary, and they'll suffer, to do so, right? They would rather have a worse team and get away with paying a lower salary than pay a high salary and get superstars.
Are sports not similar?
Wait. When did we start talking about Legion?
But hold on, are sports not similar? The problem is the sample size in the CDL is so small that, like, if you compare it to a traditional sports league, which is the model based off
3 years, that's absolutely nothing.
I mean, yeah, but what we're a few years in. I think if we're comparing it to like traditional sports, there's also, and I could be wrong, but surely there's sports teams that spend significantly less than the New York Yankees.
The Tampa Bay, I said,
but the problem is we have 12 teams, so the spotlight.
I get
is
the
on
whole
those
Tampa analogy, man. I get it.
Yeah, but that's fine for the 30th fucking team in the league when there's only 12 and the talent is capped. That doesn't work.
Leicester won the Premier League and spent infinitely less money than like the other 5 or 6 teams behind them.
Bro, no one is saying you can't win if you don't do it.
How often does that happen, Ben?
Oh, you were saying that literally 45 minutes ago on the show.
Bro, anyone could fucking win in Vanguard. We saw that by the fucking
that's
game.
Just the complete opposite of what
the sliders.
No, but when we're talking about
the algorithm,
but like in Cold War, that wouldn't have happened. But my point is that the league gets super top heavy due to salaries, and that makes the show boring. No offense, Don. I love you. I couldn't give a fuck about a Paris game this year or a Florida game.
Damn, my bad,
and it's not just me. And when we talk about like league match viewership, like using this model, like, bro, no one cares about some of these matchups because it's almost it's literally to the point where it's so predictable.
I agree.
I loved watching Paris this year. I love it.
The talent disparity is so huge.
I agree and I disagree though, because look at Florida versus OpTic Major 2 Minnesota, where Florida knocks out OpTic, and obviously if we're comparing the way those players are paid, OpTic should win 10 out of 10 times. Florida wins that big matchup. That's not how Call of Duty works. That's not what we're talking about. One matchup is irrelevant. We're talking about overall.
I mean, like you could literally almost start a season.
I mean, it was close though. I mean, I would agree with you. If those bottom 4 teams were so far down, I would agree with you. But like the running was pretty fucking tight.
You're going one by one. You could literally, and the running was also tighter. The running was also tighter because LAG won a major. Outside of that, like they would have been in the dumps with the other bottom 4s. What'd you say, Ben?
I said, did you put Paris over London in your tier rankings in the beginning of the season?
Bro, Pat, they were equally
Pat,
you didn't like tuning into Paris? Like, I like to tune in just because I always thought the day was the day, where they were just gonna do something crazy. And sometimes they had those days. Sometimes it's fun to watch the teams that are at the bottom because they, there's upsets and shit, especially in like Vanguard. Like you never know what the fuck's gonna happen going into it. So
Paris did take.
You're
phase,
right.
Game
You're
5,
right there, Tommy. I mean, we can't really tell about the aim assist sliders. We can't see it.
They were giving my boy Don Jimbo. Come on, man.
Bro, when we're making the
star next to him.
It's disrespectful to Jimbo who had to play from Canada on like a million ping, right, Don?
Bro,
obviously, if you play
super disrespectful. My bad. Let me use a better example. They gave my guys 2-ril. Like it's the same shit, man. Like when you pick up players
that motherfucker got a pillow though. I don't got a pillow.
Scary ass pillow. He walked off with
a
pillow, beat my ass, and walked off.
Damn.
Crazy shit.
That's just depressing.
Bottom line, my point was you could if we knew all salaries, right? Like if even not public facing, I could almost go in and rank by salary tier the end of year performances for teams. No
and
bullshit.
Some teams would surprise you.
You would be like 95% successful.
Bro, you say that, but bro, you never know over the course of a season, man. Do you think anyone would have predicted that the final this year would have been Thieves and OpTic, and the year before that the final would have been FaZe in Toronto? I don't think anyone had that going into Cold War.
I'm gonna say this, Ben.
I mean, I don't know. Sometimes there's different
Ben, I'm gonna say this. When we're making that
Kyler's team, like Kyler, Donnie, everyone thought that'd be a god squad. They didn't work. It just, I don't know. There's always. I agree with Ben. There's going to be teams that disappoint.
Good squads that haven't worked.
Teams that impress. Teams that you're talking over your fat ass.
Okay, explain to me how I got an email about going to champs, right? Before Major 4 started.
Okay, what kind of conspiracy you about to start?
What does that have to do?
Explain to me how I got aim assist through the entire fucking P2 post Berlin.
Yo, there was a crazy conspiracy.
One side to the other, bro.
There's only a
Wait,
couple
you
of
pre-someone was pressing buttons? You're about to get fucking...
Bro,
Yo,
there's only
hold on, there
couple
was a
weeks in
crazy-
season, you gotta book hotels
Shit
and
was
flights.
weird. I couldn't miss.
Crimp. There was a crazy
sucked.
conspiracy back in the day that people in the back were like, you know, tweaking the network latency on LAN to rig results. That was a conspiracy.
Next topic, because this is a lose-lose.
Yo, this is an insane conspiracy.
Yeah, I
This is
I saw that one. I saw that
because
one, bro.
we can't
Yo,
prove
can we get
and we
sauce
look
in here?
crazy talking
I was just
about
gonna
it.
say, Killa was right
Can we
all
get
along.
sauce? Can we get
No,
sauce?
actually, no. Cars were exploding a lot for OpTic back then. You remember that? Cars were-
Yeah, real quick. Trey said he wants to roast Pat. Trey said he wants to roast Pat.
User was
Hey,
shit.
Crimp,
Trey, you
you
wanna
know
roast
when
back?
we got the settings?
Yo,
Easy mode.
Yo,
No, guys, let Trey talk, please.
hang on a minute. I got a fucking Pringle in my throat.
hold on. I'm gonna have to turn my
Yo,
camera on to
same.
fix this.
Barbecue, Tom?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get it, Tom.
I got the scorching hot ones though. I got
See what the algorithm. This is the IRL one right here,
This
bro.
is the
That is
Ian
weird.
Enable thing. This is the
Hold on,
the
I got
limited
this.
simulation bullshit.
Wait, Trey's here to roast me, guys. Let's calm down. Trey, let's go. Floor is yours.
Not here to roast you. It's just like,
Oh, I thought that's what Tom said.
no, I'm
Nah, I'm
here to have a nice conversation with you.
Oh, shit.
My bad. I might have
But,
dragged it.
but I did say to Tom flame you because, you know, I wanted to get in there quicker.
Oh, yeah. But flame me. I got a good comeback. I've been waiting
Maybe
for this one.
Tate was right about the Matrix, bro.
Oh
shut
no,
up.
not Andrew
The floor-
Tate.
the
No.
floor
Can't
is
bring up the
Trey.
top G.
Guys, let Trey talk, please.
Hey, Trey, go ahead. Trey has the floor. Trey.
Trey, it's the floor, baby.
Wait, Pat, you said salaries. Salaries equal to results, correct?
Not exactly that. Yeah, you paraphrasing a little bit, but yeah, I said something along the lines.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, can we talk about how
Yeah.
Kleenex couldn't throw a stun until he changed accounts?
Oh, I heard about that.
What?
Guys,
the
we're getting
fuck
off topic. Let's let Trey talk, please.
Regardless of like,
sorry, Kendrick.
regardless of our, obviously, you know, we weren't the best at LAN.
Yeah, for sure.
Control, obviously, we were fucking dog shit.
It's all good. It happens.
Respectfully.
We still held a solid, you know, top 3 position in the league, be it online or whatever, with the second lowest salary in the league.
Mm-hmm. Didn't I just say that? You guys were really underpaid team?
Yeah, but, you know.
Hey, you guys had a fucking chiropractor though.
It's all good.
No, we didn't.
I didn't have that shit.
That's lit.
But hold on, Trey, because I kind of want to reply to this. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
of
you're
course,
right,
yeah,
you did.
go.
But when we take online off out of the factoring here, you would have been in the bottom tier of teams. No?
Well, yeah, with all the issues going on, yeah.
Yeah, but
Trey,
I mean,
Trey, that's a roast, by the way.
but
No, that's
let's
perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine.
but-
You know.
but let's use your example. Like you play, you had what 2 rookies, Gizmo and Nasty, right? I guess Afro technically, I don't really consider Afro a rookie anymore.
I mean, we had 3 rookies if you compare, because Afro only had 2 months in
yeah, I
Cold
guess
War,
we can compare. So, but the thing is, like, to me, salary wise, I think you were deserving of your pay. But like on LAN, I think you got paid fairly. Not you, of course, you're a veteran. But on LAN, when we're talking about LAN results, I think your pay was equal, and I think we saw results in comparison to that.
This is such a boat, dude. The way this season is structured.
Hang on. We're good. Ben, don't stress, bro. Don't stress. We're good.
Today. He's been stressing a little bit.
And Ben, listen, we're good.
This motherfucker got 3 candles in the background too, bro.
I'm trying
And then Trey.
late night.
Trey, this is
so hard.
This is my comeback for if you came here and roasted me.
No, never.
The lights here, baby. The lights. Oh, Sean, plug it.
Yo, Tommy.
I mean, to be fair though, Pat, you made it out like you made it out.
Lakes, bro. That's a lakes, bro.
I got it back, baby. There they are.
Tommy, we're done talking about rosters, right?
What's going on?
Yeah, you can leave if you want, Chris. You can leave if you want.
Yeah,
I know
to
it's
be fair,
dragging
though,
out.
I got something. I was like, where is this going? I
No,
know
it's
Warzone,
dragging out.
Like, need to be here.
You're always free to dip out whenever towards the end of shows if it's dragging out. It's just,
I'm gonna mute out on the VOD thing so that way my cam stays there, just so it doesn't fuck up with the overlay. But
Yeah, you're good, bro. You're good, bro.
Pat, to be fair, you make it out like we got fucking world starred though.
Look at the lights, Trey.
I'm good, bro. You know me.
Yeah, I know. But you guys kind of did get world starred.
We lost our last 4 series, game 5 every fucking time. 2 of them being reverse sweeps because we couldn't win a control, but that's on us. But we lost game 5 every time.
I mean, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, bro,
but
if you want to sit there and say we've got fucking
That's just
beasts,
that's just genetics, bro. Europeans find a way to lose, bro. You can't fight that, bro.
One thing I will say, Trey,
Shit went back to 1776 Revolutionary War. Motherfuckers lost to pitchforks, bro. That ain't really on you, man.
To be fair,
I'm just saying you made it out like you're absolutely fucking.
Hold on, no, I gotta reply.
1 second.
Love you, Trey.
Let Ben have the floor. This is Ben's fucking time.
To be fair,
Ben.
you guys lost a lot of game 5s. I think you also, especially at the end of the season, had opportunities where you guys were up like 2-0 in a series.
Yeah, no, we got reverse swept twice.
You blew a 2-0 lead. You blew a 13 colony lead, man. Like.
What?
You good, bro?
I feel
it's a bad one now.
All right. Well, listen, we're gonna end the show because we were just keeping it going, just because good conversations. I figured we'd keep it going. Why not? I figured people would hate it if I turned it off. But listen, we're gonna end it right there.
Wait, we got one more team.
Who?
Seattle Surge.
They're sticking together, bro. I already heard. They're sticking together, bro. There's your intention.
Yeah.
It's over with.
But do we think they should?
I tried.
They should. They got third at chance. Why would they change?
I mean, because I believe in constant improvement, Ben. That's the same. That's the same reason we dropped Clay for Karma. We saw an opportunity and we took it. And if I'm Seattle Surge, I'm doing the same thing.
What changes you making?
Well, I'm definitely keeping Pred, like without a doubt. See, like I actually want to clarify. Pred to me, like, bro, Pred is somebody that you give like the $500K a year, like Hydra hypothetical contract to. Anyway, that's off topic.
Wait, what just what happened? Oh, you said hypothetical.
Yeah, it was hypothetical.
Wait, are you saying like that should just be? I don't know. I hate the league, bro.
No. I was using the comparison of like we were talking about Hydra earlier in New York, like Ben was going through examples of like why Hydra should get that type of contract. But I think when we're using like a comparison of a superstar sub who came out of nowhere, Pred to me would be more filling for a contract like that than Hydra is.
I think there's hardly anyone in the league that deserves 500K.
I fully agree with you. I fully agree with you.
You're making 500K.
If you're making
500,000. If you're making
500K and you're not bringing anything else,
yeah, you're gonna make a clap on main stage.
Go ahead, Ben. Go ahead, Ben.
No. I like where this is going because
back to topic.
Wait. Okay.
No.
Back to topic, you pudding.
If you're Seattle Surge and you have the opportunity to improve, you obviously see that you got a pretty good foundation. Pred was probably more than anyone in the world was expecting. Like he was actually a problem.
His corners were good.
Sib, I think you keep
punch Doug
for sure. Sib was kind of that thing all year long that we were talking about. Like he's either hot or cold, and when he's hot, it's very helpful. But then we look at Mac and Lamar, and I think, they got third at champs. They had one, major 3 win, whatever. Outside of that, they were pretty lackluster. I think if you have the opportunity to improve, you go for it. And I can't imagine like salary wise, it would be a bad decision. I think they could get players for roughly the same money, but more talent. And I don't see a reason why you wouldn't try to improve. I think it's one of those things where if you want to be like, yeah, my guys did, they won once and they got third at champs, whatever, you still should try to improve. Like
I see where you're going with that, Pat, but
I think there's plenty of options.
Tom's heard the same that I have, bro. These guys want a team together. They got third. They won an event this year. You got to trust your guys if they want to stick it. And they won an event this year and basically they came short to Thieves. Who won the last 2 events, and FaZe they got second in like legit every event this year outside of Pro-Am and Major 4.
You, but here's my problem. And have we all played zombies here? All of us?
No.
There we go.
Yeah, I've been playing it for the first time.
Okay, if you got a ray gun. Right? Why would you not pack-a-punch that motherfucker?
You gotta pack-a-punch it, man.
You can't even pack-a-punch the ray gun. See, you're already wrong. You can't even pack-a-punch the ray gun.
I don't know what zombies you're playing, but you can for sure pack-a-punch the ray gun.
There's literally a clip of this. There's literally a clip of this. I have it right here. Live here. We're going to the clip live. 27 seconds. Boom.
I'm pretty sure you can pack-a-punch the ray gun.
I've pack-a-punched many ray guns in my day.
I mean, one.
Your DMs.
You pack-a-punched it.
What? No, I didn't, Pat.
Yeah, bro, it has 40 bullets, Tom. That's already pack-a-punch, bro.
Oh, shit, you're right. You
Damn,
can't
only
pack it,
6
punch it
Wait,
twice,
why did you
Pat.
pack a punch right there during a fucking?
That's
you're
the whole.
teleporting back.
Like Porter said, I'm not a fucking casual. I didn't play zombies. I never played
Either
it.
way,
Hey,
back
respect,
to topic. Back to
respect.
topic. If you had the opportunity to pack a punch one of your roles, you go for it, man. You go for it every
I
time.
don't know. I think the team hopping shit sucks.
Yeah, I agree with.
I don't know. I don't understand why you
like
can't
them
have-
sticking, bro.
Motherfucking FaZe should pack a punch their insoles.
if I could pack a punch Russell Westbrook for Kyrie Irving right
Are you
now,
holding that one
I'm
in,
doing
Craig?
it every time.
Yeah, but no, but I'm strictly talking like
thing-
1 year
No, I
of being
don't know.
together and having a semi-good year. You know, they won an event, third at champs. Why not
And
give
think
it
about it,
another
bro.
run, bro?
Bro, the Warriors
bro.
went 73-9, got fucking second to LeBron, and then picked up KD. Listen,
No, but
bro.
how many
Yeah,
how many different winners this year? How many different winners were there this year?
You
Five?
get
The team
better.
hopping sucks, bro. It's like one guy having a good year with his
No,
team
there's
or
no-
like something like that. The
there-
team hopping sucks, bro.
There's
You
no
gotta- you gotta
long-term
put
team
trust in your
chemistry
team,
because
bro.
after
Pat, I
1 year,
didn't get that
everybody just
reference. I don't
fucking
watch tennis.
disperses. Here's the thing: how many
agree,
how many
Zach.
different
I
winners were there this year? Five.
Porter, you basically had
Are we
a
counting kickoff in Pro-Am?
Porter, you
I
had
don't
the
fucking care. How
opportunity
many
to go
winners?
from a
5, 4, 3?
GT3 RS
If
to a
we're counting-
GT2 RS,
pick off at
no
6, I think,
additional
right?
money.
Okay, listen, 6
Hey,
different
there's
winners.
pros and
If
cons.
you win one and play third
Sounds like a
term of the
vacuum.
year, I think you have a solid squad to build off and just like keep that chemistry riding.
In a very inconsistent game
Guys,
too.
what signal would that send to the team? You had a good year. You won an event. You came short against like 2 extremely
That
short
you have a
franchises.
winning culture. That third's not good enough.
Obviously, but
I think,
bro,
I think that
yo,
builds
yo,
the trust in the team.
do you change if you're phased, just placed in second? because they haven't won? I don't
Yo,
understand.
wait, yo,
Porter,
yo,
we were
gotta-
getting first, and we were like, "Yo, this isn't good enough. We lost the map,
Bro,
Where's
we
Damon
thought
at?
we thought we were filthy rich, bro, and then I found out the YouTube numbers for the Green Wall. Wow,
Can't believe it, bro.
we were actually flat broke in comparison, and that's what I want to talk about right now, right?
Okay.
How? Okay, follow me here really quick. Okay, how? So
Ryan.
back in the day, you got paid basically off your following. You did.
Yeah, that's true.
You did. Now they're paying for skill and talent. Right as I fell
And
off.
age.
And age.
That's right when I fell off.
That's a
Right when I
factor.
fell off. So, I got pretty much fucked. But but listen, bro, how are people going to be making like the Supermax deals? Motherfuckers don't even have a Twitch account.
No, it does make no sense when it comes to that.
They get 1 like on their tweets.
I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, the whole Paco thing is salty. This motherfucker don't even retweet when he's told to, right? Retweet this. We all know what that is.
To be
Right?
fair, Krim, you said your
Oh,
salary,
he's
and I was
starting
like,
it again.
First start.
You
We're starting
said
right
your
now.
salary,
no,
and I was like, being
no.
on the min sucks, bro.
No, I know.
Yo,
I know.
Porter,
you
Wait,
made
wait, wait, hold on.
380
Stop,
this year.
Shut up.
I'm saying, try being on the
That's
min,
a
bro. It
lot of
sucks
money.
cock.
But he made like 120 from prize money,
you want
so
me to
really it
tell
was
you
like
a
500.
story about how I literally secured a sponsor?
All right, let me
I
hear it.
individually got a sponsor
Oh, yeah,
in
no, tell
MW,
us.
right? 6 figures. Okay? A lot of money. Okay?
For Envy, for Empire.
Yeah. So what happened, right, was it was in a category that was restricted. Okay?
We
It
should
was-
explain what what that means real quick. If you
So
want me to.
restricted. It was a PC company, right?
So let me explain.
6-figure sponsor.
Let me explain. There are, just so everybody's aware, the way it works is there are certain sponsors that the team can go and get, certain categories of sponsors, and there are certain categories that the league holds as a restriction that they can get as like the exclusive league partner, et cetera. But go ahead, Graham.
Yeah.
So, for example,
Okay,
real quick,
okay.
Game
So-
Fuel, so you can't go get Red Bull as an example for
Yeah.
a sponsor.
I'll
No
just keep
conflicts.
it. You know what? I'm being transparent tonight. It was
Yeah.
150. Okay.
Whoa.
150 for 12 months. Okay.
Good.
So pretty
Good
much.
base.
So pretty much what happened, right, was Envy went, hey, if you're gonna, and the league approved it, and Envy went, okay, if he can get this company sponsor, right? Why can't we get, our company sponsor that sponsors Envy, but you denied it for Empire, right? How come he can be sponsored by basically the same company, a rivaling company, for that sponsor for Envy, right? So they used my fucking deal to secure a sponsor for Envy. You get what I mean? And it was probably way more than 150.
To be fair, Porter.
What are you saying though? Like your brand is valuable.
To be fair, Porter.
No. So my whole
I don't think
point,
anybody's
right?
saying that.
No, I get what Porter's
my whole
saying, but
point of
there's
this, right?
More context you're missing.
My whole point, right, is that's what like you're saying 380, right? I borderline could have like made that back for a fucking company, like just by being on the team.
So
yeah. So I'm saying when you got players that don't stream, they don't tweet, they don't do Instagram, they don't do shit other than smoke people, right? How are you going to pay them a shit ton of money when they borderline make you nothing other than the prize cut that that player is going to earn them at the end of the year?
Which, Porter, I made this exact point.
Confusing.
I made this exact point at the beginning of the show because I 100% agree with you. That's the risk. And I will say though, one context to your thing though, Porter.
Yeah.
And I think this is typical on both the owners and the league. I think definitely the sponsor patch for teams in the first year of the league was not great, and the league and the teams worked to address that in future seasons. So like the situation that you had definitely probably wouldn't have happened later on in later years. And that was the example of why they changed stuff. But I agree with you on the Paco thing. That's risk. He's got to be able to.
It's not even just Paco though.
Have business,
It's not even just Paco. Like I think every single player is pretty much over fucking paid. If you take last year's salaries, right? Bro, the thing is, if you guys think 380 is a lot, bro, Seth probably brings in millions, right?
He's got insane reach.
I know his salary. I think he's underpaid.
He's an anomaly.
That he probably brings in fucking $3 million a year just by existing.
Because he's got tremendous reach and a tremendous audience. And if you're
he's
a brand,
the fucking league, bro. Like what?
And he got there by hard work.
He is
been making videos since he was 13.
He is the king, bro.
Yeah, he's that 1% of gaming.
Everyone's saying he's
I just
underpaid.
died
They have
inside.
no idea how much he's making.
I just died inside.
That makes a lot of money, guys. He's been making a lot of money for a long time.
He got Oakley for the fucking team, bro. Think about that.
Bro,
they had a van. They had a fucking van.
Oh, I know. I saw the fucking van.
Hold on, a van? Hold on, you gotta go find a van.
They had a van.
They had a fucking van, right?
That shit was fire.
But
there's a lot of people that deserve it.
Seth has been a top 1% gaming influencer for a number of years, pre-CDL, and honestly, it kind of almost predates the CWL, like the final version of CWL. We're talking like Ghost, like that guy was massive in the early days of COD, and he's built a massive brand.
But the weird thing to me is, Crim, using your example, like he could never beat me. So should I be getting royalties, or how does that work, Ben?
Pat, you only got paid because he was there. I think if we made a players union, right, and
Crim,
said
you missed
like,
the joke, man.
No, I know, but honestly, it just pissed me off because you've made that joke
you were
1,000 million
Yeah,
times.
I forgot Porter was on the team too.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. Listen.
Okay.
Here's a hypothetical question. Okay. If we made a players union, everyone involved except Seth, right? And we said, let's just say we wanted to go right, and Seth wanted to go left in terms of like talking to the CDO, right? Which one carries more weight? If we're the CDL, right? Which one would you have to go with? I'd have to go with Scump, whatever the fuck he says.
You guys lose your ability to 100% collectively bargain. That's the issue.
Because he's bigger than probably all of us combined, and I'm fat as shit.
I don't think there's a probably about it.
Yeah. Which is crazy.
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 You are complimenting Scump a lot, bro.
I hear what you're saying, but like,
loves him.
Because I might not have a job. I got a dick ride somewhere.
You dick suck cheesing.
I gotta go.
No way, Don. No way,
Every time you dick ride, every one sentence equals 1 or 2 subs. It's insane.
Porter, you're not on a sub train right now. You gotta be better, man.
Yo, let the dick suck cheese.
Shut the fuck up, Pat. You didn't even discover webcams until like fucking last year, dog.
Yeah, he still doesn't put it on. He never put your webcam on.
Yeah, because he wears wife beaters every day.
You see the meme I got? I wish, but Porter, if that was true, you're saying I was naked beating you at every champs, baby?
No, I'm saying when you get home.
Oh, okay,
you
when I get
immediately
home.
strip.
Gotcha. Imagine that was true.
All right, I don't know where the fuck this conversation has went.
Yeah, listen, let's just end this shit, bro. Like, comment, and subscribe if you watch it on YouTube. All right? Go to Anchor.fm/The Check out all the other sites. And go follow at The Flink on Twitter. Girl's doing a phenomenal job running socials over there. Oh, yeah, Porter, I got to ask you one thing because I told the chat I'd ask you. The TJ Haley shit, why can't you say that on stream? I don't understand.
No, that TJ thing he should 100% not say on stream. That's
Yeah,
not,
yeah.
Can I
that is,
say it
that is
then?
not for
Wow.
the stream.
You know, if Ben, bait
Yeah.
fucking masturbator fucking overlord, right, is saying that, it's bad. And I didn't even know what
Really?
Ben said.
I don't think it's that
should
bad.
not, that should not be mentioned on stream. That will cause a ripple of things that
They
I
would
don't think
find a
anyone
way to
wants.
find me
Yeah, that's not. That is
through
maybe
the fucking justice system, probably.
I don't even. I'm reading that.
years we could talk
AKA
about it.
I get
But I'm reading that, and I don't even understand why that would have caused that anyway.
Well, there's more to it. That's the
Porter
thing, but
didn't put everything in there?
It's gonna.
Well,
it's not something that's public, and
Now
I think
everybody's
it
got blue
problems.
balls. Now you see what happened? Hey chat, we tried, bro. We tried. But I see what you're saying. You think it could get you because of this in the chat, basically.
But that doesn't look that bad to me, Tom. Does that look that bad to you?
Nah, I didn't think it was that bad personally. I think you could say it, but
Well, Ben said
You
there's
don't-
more to it, though. So
Listen,
Can we
bro,
say
but-
that then?
listen, I've been wrong like a lot recently. All right, I'm batting 50%. Okay, like point fucking 05.
Oh
okay?
shit! Oh
I
shit!
can't
We got one more
afford to be
team.
wrong right now.
Tom?
What, bro? Vegas?
No. The Boston.
Yo, why'd you say it like that?
Because I thought that was the last team we didn't talk about.
Yeah, it's the last. No, Boston. It's the last team. We didn't go over
We talked
Boston.
about Boston. We talked about them a little bit. We
No, we
thought that,
didn't.
but we talked about maybe Cammy and Bance going over there. Maybe Boston was interested. In
I thought that was London.
But,
I thought that's what we said about London.
or Cammy. I thought we said Cammy. Somebody boss. Cammy to Boston.
I don't think we talked about chat. Did we talk about
Nah,
Boston?
we didn't like actually talk about Boston. But what do you think's going on with Boston? Man, this
Oh,
show just keeps on going, huh? We
Yeah,
can just keep
let
it
me-
going.
Let me look. So I saw that they extended Nero and Vivid. Is that correct? And they signed Method to a 2-week game extension.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
So the 2-week game extension, I believe, Tony, correct me if I'm wrong, is
They
where
have 2
you
weeks into the
basically
game coming out to let me know.
you renew the contract, and I think the game comes out late October, right? So they basically have until mid-November to let Tony know if they're fully extending or not. Tony, if they don't fully extend, are you restricted or completely free?
I would assume free.
I'm pretty sure you're free if they don't. Yeah.
Yeah. After.
Oh wow.
After that time period, I'm pretty sure you're free.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
yeah, I'm
that's
pretty
what makes-
sure.
at least that's what makes the most sense.
I'm pretty sure if your game launch extended, they have that amount of time to either take your year 2, maybe I think offer you a new deal or release the contract.
Wait, so they could offer you a new deal, not just extend in that period?
I believe so.
Okay, gotcha.
That's
Or
actually
maybe-
crazy.
or-
That's crazy.
Well, the problem I have with that rule is that, like, and I hope this doesn't happen, but like teams could be potentially set at this time, and then a team make that decision.
Oh, if you're on about the when the game comes out contract thing.
Yeah, the game launch.
Oh,
like that could-
bro, if the game's out,
That
and
should not be a rule.
If the game's out and you haven't got a team, you're fucked.
I mean, yeah, you would probably end up at like a sub spot at worst,
Yeah.
but like most teams would at least have made a roster by then. So it's like,
Yeah, I made sure I wasn't gonna get like any of that happen to me this year.
is that a clause? Can you like, is it able to
Pretty sure
like
that, maybe.
refuse that? Or Ben, do you have any knowledge on that? Because that's a new clause.
No, you can't refuse it.
Ben, you're not talking. You're like talking
My
in
microphone's
your room.
muted, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
That's one of those. I mean, that's just unfortunate. Kind of how it works is like Zen in this situation doesn't really have control. It's a team option, right? And they're choosing to go with the short-term extension.
The problem is it's a team option that has an expiration date, which is a problem. Like if it was a team option where like they just extended and they would have to at least face the 2-month buyout period or whatever that buyout period is, I think that would be more fair, or at least tie some kind of severance to that that game
Yeah,
launch extension.
it's a whack option in the contract for sure. But is that negotiated in? Like, how does that work?
I'm sure you can get. I'm definitely sure you can. Well, I mean,
It's not like that for everybody, right, Trey? Like, it's not like for you.
No, for this year, I only signed a 1 year, so I didn't have a 1+1.
Okay, to Ogre 2 just said in chat, yes, you can negotiate it in or out. Well, damn it, Tony.
Well,
I
yeah.
mean, with what leverage? It was the last CDL team.
All right.
Nah, I mean, like.
But did all your players have that?
I would assume so.
Oh, okay.
Damn.
I guess that makes
I mean,
more
sometimes
sense.
Probably a
it's
full
quick,
team
it's
thing.
quick.
Well, yeah, because if one person on the team had it, then forget it. And then
Yeah,
you
I
would have
mean-
definitely got it.
I mean, I just said to London this year, like, I don't want to do a 1+1. Let's just do a 1 year, and we got that solidified. Like, my contract's up in 6 days.
Wait, I just thought of something. Can we fucking exile Pat for fucking all of us over the
What do you mean?
LAG thing?
What is Porter talking about?
Over the fucking playing 4 months, dipping, then getting paid for
he
the whole
finessed.
year?
He finessed.
Yeah,
Wait,
he
that had
finessed, but he
nothing-
fucked all of us.
That
dude.
had
That definitely probably
nothing
knocked down
to
to
do with me because when we look at it, it was Ian. That happened to Ian, Karma. Who else?
That is true. He's spitting.
True,
There was
but
like 5 players
You were the
that happened
first,
to.
though, Pat. You were the first.
You were
It's
the
not- it's-
fucking first. And now what is it? Yo, Trey's in. What? And
Wait,
Donnie,
I wasn't the first.
What is the?
Ian got benched first.
It was
Did not?
initially
30
fucking
days.
a full year guaranteed. What is it now, guys?
It was
Oh,
30 days. and it
Damon
was
said they
60
wouldn't
days.
bench.
David
whoa,
said
whoa,
that.
whoa.
David
What-
said
what's
I
the
didn't get
minimum?
paid, asshole.
No,
They wouldn't
what does
bench
that
me.
mean?
Fuck up. No,
Wait, what does
shut
that
the
mean?
fuck up.
David, you're funny.
Wait, what's the
What is-
what's
he
the
retired.
what's the minimum
Guaranteed.
you can get paid when you get dropped?
Yes,
2 months now.
for
Okay,
how
2
long?
months. 2 months.
But that's
2
but
months.
that's negotiable, Krim. It's not like a mandate. That's negotiable. You can
That is
decide whether
not
to sign that.
negotiable.
It is negotiable, but no
that
team
is
does it.
negotiable.
No team does it.
I mean, that's your fault. Hey, I'll be your agent 10%. It might not work this year, but next year I got you.
That's just they do. They'll just say
I
no
don't care.
regardless.
They say
5% maybe.
below me.
5% maybe.
They just say no.
Can someone tell me what 5% of 380 is?
Well, 5%. Nah, hell
Like
nah.
19,
I
no?
need a calculator. Does
You
Hector
are
actually want
motherfucking
it?
stupid.
Don't
it is
spam. Hex wants to come in
19.
here,
It
bro.
is
If he doesn't want to come in
19.
here,
Yo, Trey, you're nice with
Get my
it.
hopes up.
Yeah,
Get my hopes up and
Look,
shit.
quick match,
Yo,
bro,
wait,
quick.
Yeah.
Yo,
Trey's
everyone shut up.
nice.
Let Ben handle Hector, bro. We'll find out. We'll get to the bottom of a lot of shit here.
Wait,
all
what
right?
is Hex coming in here based on?
When he
I don't know. I think the
just
chat might be
directly
trolling.
ask him.
Oh,
Just
just a
directly
hangout?
ask him, how much money do you think Seth makes you? Or
You think he's
makes
gonna answer,
OpTic?
you think he's gonna answer that
I
question?
mean, motherfucker, if you say it, he might.
I'll try, but I don't think he's giving us an answer.
Wait,
to that
I feel like
question.
Hex is gonna come in here and say
you gotta
something about
work
the
Ben, you gotta
Oakley
work 'em.
contract or whatever you said about it.
You gonna start cooking? Does he want in? I think they're trolling. I don't think he actually wants
If they
in.
want
I
in,
think
if
they
you want
got
in,
it.
I
one
haven't
of
seen
us.
Hector in the chat once.
Yeah.
I haven't
They
seen
gotta
him.
be trolling, man.
No, he's in your chat history. I see him. Or your
is it?
chat log.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
your-
Nah, he's in the chat log, but I don't know if he's actually.
Oh,
in,
this
like,
is called peer
there.
pressure here, boys.
Yeah, no, it's the chat. It's the chat. The chat.
I don't
the
think he
chat's
said
into,
anything.
yeah, the chat is just fucking. They're trolling. They always.
Oh, so they
always do
just
this
saw
shit.
him in the chat and it was just like,
Yeah,
"You want
probably.
it?"
Yeah, probably. They trolling.
That makes
they trolling.
sense.
Because if Hector ever wanted on, man, you just shoot me a DM. Boom, get him in here.
Yeah, wait, get Damon in. I want to know how he got fatter than me. How'd that happen?
What the fuck?
Yo, by
that's
the
a
way,
dagger.
Damon, congrats on your Twitch Rivals Championship, bro. I tuned in for a little bit.
Congratulations.
That's terrible. Terrible.
Wait,
That is tippable from Damon to win a Twitch Rivals
Oh,
tournament. That's
Damon,
very
you're a fucking
tippable.
beast, bro.
I mean, he was on a team of 40, but he did win.
Hey, we
Wait. Was it? It was on Rust.
Yeah, it was 40 v 40 v 40
let's
v
go,
40.
dude. Yo, when Damon in World War II, right? When he literally lost himself in that game.
Wait, he was playing Rust in 2018.
Bro.
That game was shit.
Bro,
in
he's
2018.
been playing Rust forever. That actually just made my day because I was listening to sad, emo, depressing songs like I just lost my best friend type shit, dude.
Damn.
And it was all to Rust.
Damn.
What the fuck?
It was all Damon to Rust, bro. So
Yo,
you know what,
Russ is
I'm
godlike. bro. You
glad
should
that
play
he
it.
just won some bank
Well,
off of that, bro.
it's kind of ass now that they did the PvP patch, but it was godlike at least.
Dude, I'm actually proud of you, Damon. All those fucking night shifts
I
defending
think he made
your land.
1K, Krim, 1K each.
Made 1K each? Never mind, Damon. Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Are you serious?
Damn, bro.
1K?
Oh wait, he said nothing. Wait, I thought it was like
You
a
want
40K
nothing?
prize pool, Damon.
wow.
Nah, Damon still hates you for that. Sorry, bro.
Wait, that last time.
I swore it was a 40K prize
All right,
pool.
I'm gonna hop out of here, boys.
Later, Tony. Peace
later,
out, brother.
Peace.
Yeah, I don't know. When me and Seth won the fucking, when me and Scump won that shit, we got a little bag
User
for that.
left your channel.
Oh yeah, so
We
he
played
said
with
like
a-
1,000. So he won 1,000.
I forgot who we played with. Tfue. And
1,000?
Aiden. Tfue and Aiden. Who
Yeah.
let that team happen?
But it was like a 3 or 4
1,000
day
after the
tournament.
IRS cut, after the PayPal percentage, probably. That's motherfucking like 3 or 4 shorts from Lululemon. Okay?
But it was only 3 days. That's not bad for 3 days, right?
I don't know. Crimsix is underpaid. So.
Motherfucker, Damon prepared for that tournament for 3 years. Like, that's bad if you take that into account, bro.
All right, man. We're gonna end it there, man. We're gonna end it there, man. I appreciate everybody tuning in. I know this one dragged out. Some people might like that, some people might not. But I think this was a good show. I like that it dragged down. We gotta have some fun.
We'll
keep it going. Yeah, we'll keep it going. We'll keep it going.
Stream, yeah, I revealed my salary, but right now I'm unemployed. Fucking $0 salary. Okay.
Yeah, good.
Scump for subs. Just
you might need to put your Cash App out there, Porter.
And we'll be back with another episode.
Wait, are you still in play?